you guys think of, Andrew, what do you think of the arm on the stand real quick before we really get into this?
The arm
Is this
on
like
the stand.
ridiculous? I like this.
I was actually hoping that like once I announced the show
that it would stop.
I was
it would
hoping
stop. You've said enough.
No, I didn't. That's not what I was going to say. I was kind of hoping that we would just roll into the show and then just like introduce you and just like Gilmore would transfer cameras over to you and then just be like,
Yo, what up, bitch?
Oh, boy. Yo, boy. This is Mortgage Boy.
It's Mortgage Boy.
Yeah, I was slanging.
Two
Mortgage
eyes.
Boy.
This is No Prisoners Podcast. We're starting the show now. Hopefully Gilmar or somebody edits out the beginning part of the jiu-jitsu episode.
I don't know who's going to do it.
Dude, Gary. Gary's going to do it. We bring you guests tonight, but before we introduce our guests, subscribe to the show, subscribe to the Apple Podcasts, Spotify, like, comment, hit the subscription. It literally takes a half a second off your life to hit the subscription, and then we feel important when the subscribers go up. Like we did something. The rationale is there. Mm-hmm. You're going to enjoy this episode with the Mortgage Boy. And
yeah, there it is.
But we got Tyler back on the show.
Hey. Thanks for having me, fellas. Yeah, bring out the fucking gunshots, dude.
I've been brought a gunshot.
Demonetized 15 seconds in.
Nah, it's worth it, bro. It's worth it.
It's a Nerf shotgun. Don't worry, guys.
Yeah.
That's funny as hell.
Yeah.
That's funny as hell. But Tyler's recently joined us in the jiu-jitsu game.
Love it.
And he's like fully, I love when people, like sometimes people come and they check it out and they're like, all right, I really like this. And then like 3 months later, you just never see them ever again. Yep. But you're like, oh, I like this. I'm going to go at least one night a week. And then it's like every night a week. And then we're just like, Tyler, you need to slow down. And you're like, nah, man.
Yeah.
I'm in this now.
Yeah. I think it's 6 weeks now. Not that we got to get crazy into it right away unless
he knows exactly how many classes he's taken. He's just being
yeah. It's been approximately 123 hours since I've started training.
Oh shit!
But yeah, I was gonna say I just started to show signs of like my first like wear and tear on the body yesterday in that class.
Oh yeah.
Like I haven't been getting injured. I haven't really been feeling it. Like back to back days.
You don't come home and like have bruises on your
arm. No torn biceps yet. You know what I mean? It's pretty chill. But yesterday with the fucking what I'm calling the kidney, I don't even think it's my actual kidney. I think it's just like a soft little bruise on my back. I like to make it seem more serious, like my organs are fucking bruised on the inside. Really, it's just like it hurts a little bit. Yeah. But I'm finally starting to feel a little pain from like going back to back days. But yeah, when I first started, I was committing to going for a prolonged period. So I'm just trying to stay on the path.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, we had the homie Dale come through too.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't ready. He needs to go back and rehab some injuries.
Just got to iron out the kinks, bro. Yeah.
He'll be back, I think, though.
He's just getting the flesh suit ready, bro.
I think so. Is it safe to say that you're on the path?
I like to keep saying that. I'm going to try not to say that any more times in the pod, but yes, it's in my brain at all times to remain on the path.
Yeah, you're on the path.
Yeah.
You're clearly not on the path.
I'll take that.
You know, are you doing anything else besides just jiu-jitsu? Are you?
Yeah, no, let's just focus on the positives, you know what I mean? Let's just keep it.
I didn't know if maybe you were waking up in the morning doing like 5 push-ups or something.
No, I was just telling Gilmar before, though, I'm trying to work into some, I will say the immediate things I have been doing is I don't drink as much. I've been limiting that till I will drink like purposefully, like if we're hanging out or something, I won't drink needlessly, like out of boredom, which I used to. Like I'm a guy like
a casual drinker,
bro. If it's nice weather outside, I want a fucking beer. It doesn't matter. It's 1:00 on a Thursday. It's fucking. Damn. If I'm feeling it, you know, I used to be like, let's ride this fucking vibe wave. Let's feel like even better, dude. Like I'm feeling good. Let's feel better. So I don't do that now because everything comes back to the performance in the class.
Yeah.
So like I don't want to feel shitty because I'm already feeling shitty, getting my ass whooped every day. So like I don't want to make that worse. So it's that, and I'm also trying to drop some weight, so I'm eating better too. But having everything tie back to like the class performance really helps me think. Yeah, Gable gang, keep it tight like a Gable grip. Yeah, shirt that motherfucker.
So dumb.
What are you gonna ask? Go ahead, Andrew. I'll bring it back.
I can get tattoos, bro. That shit came full circle.
Yeah.
He threw it up.
He did throw it up. You threw it up too.
I lived that, bro.
I mean, dude, I kind of started it.
He threw it up first.
Dude, yeah, what was happening was, what we'll divide people out in class like based upon like every gym kind of does it differently depending on how big it is or not. But usually it's like traditional gyms will just like line everybody up like lowest rank to highest rank, and then they'll just take the highest ranked dude and bend the line down to the lowest ranked dude.
Whoa.
So sometimes that sucks.
I was about to ask
because you're always like. Then what ends up happening with that kind of vibe is like the upper belts stop coming to those classes.
Right. I was gonna ask that,
and then it like hurts. So like I think the way we do it at FFT.
Nope.
Fight for tomorrow.
Academy. FFTA.
Oh, okay, so the A is on the end of there.
I just say Fight for tomorrow.
I mean,
we're from.
Yeah, sure.
We train from.
But we train by size. So like I'll partner with Tyler, but if you're Dale size, you'll partner with somebody else. Not because like you're not capable, but it's like it's easier to teach someone that's like the same size as you. Some people like to make the excuse that like when they're rolling with somebody that's too big or too small, they're like, oh, I can't get this move done because they're too small or something like that. But that's not really like once you know the sport and things, like you have answers for different sizes.
Right.
But so we started Gable Gang because the tape boys, there was like all the big dudes in class who were all white belts. I just started talking shit to them because they all were just taped up.
Yeah.
Like their feet were taped, their wrists, their fingers. I'm like, dude, you guys have not been training jiu-jitsu long enough for how much tape is on you right now.
I got the tape before.
And I just started saying, I was like, where's all this tape? Like, we're going to blow out the tape budget for this month. Like, are you guys bringing this tape? Or are you just using up the gym's tape? Like, what is going on?
I borderline thought it was a requirement. I was like, do you have to tape?
Yeah, so the one guy,
things?
I was like, dude, what's all this tape doing? And he's like, oh, well, I need to get more calluses on my feet because like my feet rip from like the mats, which I'm like, dude, that's not a thing. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, and he's like, no, dude, when you drag your feet on like the grooved mats, it like rips open your skin. I was like, maybe you get like a little brush burn, but like
this sounds like me, by the way. Everything you're saying is me.
Yeah, I looked out for you. I looked out for you and brought you under the Gable Gang Empire.
Yeah, you saved me. You saved me. Yeah.
So Gable Gang was born out of necessity because we coined the term tape boys. And we were always just like, them tape boys. Yeah, bro. And like all taped up over there, just, being idiots and laughing and joking around. And then we would open mat or open roll, and I would just go around and just like be kind to the tape boys. And then I was like, well, they're tape boys. Like, what are we? So we're Gable Gang. Because Tyler was obsessed with doing the Gable grip.
It's the first grip I learned.
Gable grip, yeah.
So it just seemed right.
Yeah.
And then we just started creating fictitious T-shirt companies. Because it's the Gable Gang, dude. Just got to represent.
What's another hold you can do?
S grip.
There you go. You got S grip. Yeah.
Second one I learned.
Dude, Gilmore's throwing up S grip. Yeah, never trained a day in his life.
Well, what the fuck? Yeah. I'm just asking.
Careful, bro.
What's this one?
That was impressive.
What is
That's
this?
the church people one. That doesn't apply to jiu-jitsu.
No, I've exhausted
Gilmore's, you can't see him off camera, but Gilmore's doing and you open the church and you see all the people. Yeah, that's not a thing. You don't want your fingers tied up like that.
Yeah. No, I meant like this, not like this. Like this.
Either way, it's not a thing.
Yeah, it's not.
Don't bring that smoke around, jits.
So it's just Gable S.
No, that's why I was saying, the Gable, you never do this in day-to-day life. I don't think, well, unless people like awkwardly sit there with that, I guess, but I never put my hands together like that.
Tyler's starting to take meetings now. Mm-hmm. Just be like, let me tell you what we can do for you.
Yeah.
He's like pointing at his Zoom calls, just like.
Yeah, and I point with the pinky.
Winning championships.
Yeah. Over there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you celebrate.
That would be, it would support the cause. It would bring awareness.
Well, gotta let them know. So, yeah, the jits has been great, dude.
Yeah. Has the jits helped you in other areas of your life? Do you feel safer at home now?
No. Actually, you know what? I actually picture, like, somebody that's, like, a black belt or something, like, coming to my house and knowing that if they're trained like that they could just kick my ass even more. You're like...
Yeah, jiu-jitsu is, like, a very humbling sport. Yeah. It's not what you would think would happen.
Yeah.
And then if you come into that environment with, like, ego, you're gonna get beat up.
Yeah, I can picture that.
Like, if somebody... I've only had it, like... maybe 2 times ever happen where like a person I was training with was just kind of like, I guess they expected to be tougher than they were. or like had represented themselves their whole life.
Okay.
As such a thing.
Or maybe they were.
And then
outside of that.
Yeah, and then I just like meet them, or like the random skinny Indian kid in class comes and just like throws them around. I saw that happen one time. There was these Indian brothers that trained at a gym I used to train at, and they'd come in like real chill. And they were just, you had no idea. I mean, they were like almost twin brothers, I think. That so when you have that relationship, you get good very quickly. And this guy like came in, he looked like he was a retired meth head, and had like the that like shape up, and like just like I was like, oh man, you've seen the business end of a crack pipe. And we went to roll, and at that gym, like you needed a certain amount of stripes to roll, so you had to be like two-stripe white belt, because they had to be like, all right, you're ready for this.
Straight green.
And he came in, and this Indian kid mopped the floor with this dude, and he was like fighting, like all of his energy again, and he was just like, all right, cool, man, I just triangle you again. Yeah,
see, I've heard of that. Like I've wanted to try this for a very long time, so I've heard of people saying how it's humbling, and like how the size doesn't always, like size and strength doesn't always determine who's going to be the winner, obviously. So I came in extremely
ready for that.
Yeah, low.
Yeah, because I'm not a big dude.
I made it a point to be like, I'm just here to I'm from the bottom.
And when you're like your size or my size, and then somebody comes in that's like much bigger than us, and then they roll, and they're like, wait a minute. If I had seen you at the coffee shop this morning, I would have thought like nothing of you, but you literally could have just choked me to death.
Yeah.
It's like you start walking around and like seeing people out in the world with like a different appreciation for like, that nerdy kid that like is being an idiot right now, he also could be a black belt.
Yeah. I had felt that just from like Jocko saying that and stuff, and some of those guys.
Lord Jocko.
Yeah, the Lord Commander. But you have a deeper appreciation once you do it, for sure.
Yeah. I like, speaking of Lord Commander Jocko, Shane Gillis, the comedian, he started referring to Joe Rogan as Saint Rogies.
Saint Rogies?
Yeah. He's like, yeah, it's Saint Rogies.
Love that.
He's like, yeah, come present yourself, Saint Rogies.
Love that.
And he would just like call him out and stuff. Be like, he's in there in spirit. He wants us to do well.
So that's what we're doing with Jocko now. Lord Commander Jocko.
Yeah, Lord Commander Jocko. If Jocko somehow, like, I'd follow Jocko into anything. Even if it was the wrong thing to do. If Jocko said, let's do this as a team, I'd be like, yeah, I'm there.
How could
Whatever you say, Jocko.
Yeah, how could you not?
First name basis.
Yeah. LC.
I feel like one of his kids' name's Thor. Can we look up Jocko's kids' names?
He has kids.
He's got...
Yes, his two daughters are like really good wrestlers.
And they like roll every day in the jits. That fucking picture, dude. What a beast.
It just like, I'm not angry.
I love
Does Jocko have kid? That's the question.
4 children, okay.
19, 18, and 10, and a son who's 16.
Yeah, we don't know when that was written either, so they could be older now.
Yeah, that's true.
But they're legends. But anyway.
So that's kind of, for me, that's actually why. Look at that fucking
look how hard.
Picture,
you see the one with the MP5 right there? It's so hard. It's like you could totally look at that and be like, oh, his face is covered, but that's Jocko.
Yeah, dude.
Look at those eyes.
Unmistakable eyes.
Eyes of a killer,
tight.
bro.
Oh, my God, dude.
Crazy ass eyes.
So Jocko's one of a few of those dudes that
he's
got a children's book. He's got a couple of them.
No way.
Yeah.
Look up right under that, Way of the Warrior Kid.
Have you read these or?
I have not.
If you had kids, I would buy them for them.
Tyler has kids.
Yeah.
His kids are already legit, dude. Grayson and Rambo are best friends now.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah, they're having a good time.
Yeah.
So hearing Jocko talk about it, and like Rogan, a few of those guys just on Instagram and stuff years ago is what put this in my brain. It just took me a really long time to work up the balls to do it, and also to like, I don't know,
time.
No, like, it's just very hesitant to try it out. So real quick, I do need to credit you for, you were kind of the final push that got me in there.
Hey, come closer.
Yeah, he whispered in my ear, and everything felt better.
I kissed him.
But that gym where we go was the one you recommended. Because I'd asked you where to go.
I really think Evan's gym is, it's like the best. It's a small gym, which isn't a bad thing because you get when you go to like those name brand Gracie gyms, and not all of them, but a lot of them are franchises. So you're not a Gracie to own one of those. You're just paying a franchise.
Oh, you're just under that name?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
There's not that many. I mean, there's a lot of Gracies, but there's not that many that there's a Gracie living in Montgomeryville.
Gotcha.
Which I'm not saying anything bad about those gyms. It's just like it's like a bigger gym.
Yeah.
So with Evans, Evans' gym might not always be this way because like his reputation's growing.
Right.
It's kind of a great privilege to see like him grow, but he's also like he started with a lot of white belts because he was a new gym and like other people already have their gyms.
Yeah.
So it's very cool to watch how fast a lot of like the white belts progress at Evans' gym because the training is so like focused on the small classroom. So like you're not really some gyms you go to and there's no mat space. Like you're literally on top of each other with him. And
the coach you never even gets to talk to.
You never really even talk to the coach. Like I trained at Ricardo Almeida. I've met Ricardo Almeida 2 times and I trained there for 3 years probably.
Yeah. That's actually one of the biggest.
The second time I met him, he showed up and gave me my blue belt, and they still to this day post pictures of me from that event because like we rolled afterwards.
Yeah.
So like he was there with his camera, and like their Instagram will just like pop up, and people will be like, "Hey, is this you?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I get my royalties in the mail."
Yeah, bro. Get those checks.
Follow me.
That's one of the very cool things about Evans Gym for sure. And that's the thing you sold me on because I told you I want to go somewhere that's like friendly to beginners.
Because there's different types of gyms. There's the competition style.
I hadn't heard of that.
There's
people
like
getting smashed,
the franchise style. There's, independent rogue gym, which is kind of like what Evan's doing. He's doing his own stuff. Like he's teaching things the way he wants to teach them, which seemingly is very effective. He's also a very like reasonable person, and the fact that he's not like a lot of people open the gyms because like do the math. Like if you have 150 students
for the wrong reasons for the money, like
and you're charging 150. Evan charges like one of the lowest fees around.
Yeah,
which is also probably helping him out.
Yeah,
I think he should charge more, but that's not my business.
Yeah,
but like if you're charging $150 to $200 a student and you have 150 of them, you're all of a sudden like you're doing pretty well. And then
it's very clear that he's not in it for.
There's a lot of people I've met that like talk about opening their own gym. Not a lot of people, a handful of people, and you can tell they're doing it because they did the math one day, and they were like, "Oh man, I could teach jiu-jitsu classes and make money." And that's how it is with everything in business. Like, there's tons of like, I used to be that way too, but like I've been crushed by owning my own business for a certain amount of years now that it's like you look at other people and you see them being successful and you automatically identify like you're the perfect example. Like you do well with mortgages and like I could easily be like, oh, if Tyler can do it, I can do it. But like the fact of the matter is like you have like a whole bunch of circumstances or experiences or lessons that have like led you to be able to perform at a high level where there a majority of people in your position aren't doing the numbers you're doing potentially because they are either satisfied with where they're at, which is fine, or they thought they could do it. And they totally undervalue. Like there's tons of businesses that I look at and I'm like, wow, that guy's doing really well.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wonder what his secret is. I wonder like what happened to him to put him in that position.
You touched upon it with the example of opening the gym and trying to like grow the base, doing the math. Like I've always tried to focus on the value first. And I was explaining this to Evan one time after the class. Like the reason I really enjoy how I operate is I work on a very lean margin, which simply means my branch sells lower interest rates, but the loan officers get paid less as a result. Yeah. You can structure a branch where you sell above market interest rates and the loan officers make 2, 3, 4 times as much money per deal as I do. But I don't know how people, I I don't feel bad saying it. I don't like those people, and I don't know how they go year after year, like, not bothered by the fact that they're, in a way, taking advantage of their clients. Like,
Is that because they are selling the same product but for a lot more money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either higher interest rate or the same interest rate with more fees.
Is that the same thing to say, though, that, like you pay, like, my truck's a GMC.
Yeah.
And it's, like, the Denali. So it's the same exact truck.
Oh, yeah. No, the loan's the same. We're selling the same thing. I think how they justify it is they tell themselves or try to sell to people that the service they offer is worth the markup and the cost. My whole thing is you do not need to pay more for the service. Like, I will deliver a better product being the same 30-year Fannie Mae loan with a lower rate, lower fees, with better service. What I'm really after is not that max margin, trying to juice the deal, make a bunch of money. I'm after the relationship. And I'll just tell people that. I don't care about making money on your deal. I care about, in a year, your brother, your sister, your colleague, your friend is talking about buying a house and you remember me. Like, yeah. And I'm just after the relationships. I do not want to lose the opportunity for the relationship. I will do a deal for zero to get the relationship if it's a valuable relationship. So I've always been.
Don't tell people that.
I don't mind saying
people
it,
are calling up, be like, "I'm valuable."
Yeah,
you did.
No, I mean, I hold the authority to not do that, but that's my mentality, and that's why I'm able to be transparent with people. I will tell them the math of, like, how the branch makes money, how I make money. I'm just ultimate transparent. Then I have nothing to hide. I'm not worried about it. I encourage people to, like, get a quote from the bank they normally bank with. Like, if you bank with Bank of America, I'm like, tell them you're looking for a loan and, like, come to me with the quote. We'll do them side by side. Like, I don't want to just tell you that my numbers are better. I want to show you. I want the numbers to do the talking. You need to see it to believe it. And if they're not, right? If they're not better, you're getting a better offer. And I already know I'm doing it with, like, a thin margin, right? Below market average. I'm already doing my best. If you're getting a better offer, I'm not going to feel bad about you going with them. Like, I'm going to prioritize you before me. So if that means you can't work with me, but you're getting something better, I want to see you do that. Because you're still going to remember that I was a good guy about that. I'll still actually get referrals from people I don't work with because they remember that. And then maybe they have a horrible experience. Something goes wrong there. Maybe the service is terrible, or they're not as creative or nimble, and then they might come back, but they won't forget that I was honest with them about that.
Why did you, like, what made you decide to go that route where you're, like, transparent, honest?
Yeah.
Like the less appealing route that you spoke on earlier. Like, why? Like, was that an active decision where you're like, this is the type of loan person I'm going to be, or was it just It is a decision because you have to decide what kind of operation you want to have. I could talk more, maybe we will, about different ways banks structure themselves or teams structure themselves, but everything for me comes back to my mentor. It's a man named Kevin Kenyon. Shout out, Kevin.
Shout out, man. KRK, bro.
Hey.
So from the beginning, he operated a branch for our company that had the lowest margins in the company. So we had the lowest rates in the company, primarily because our office is in Princeton. So a lot of our clients just naturally are more sensitive to the financial figures. They care more about the numbers.
Because they understand
They understand it, man. I mean, you're buying a house around Princeton. You're more in tune with financing. Like, this is where you'll see some shady outfits or parts of the country, anywhere in the country where, lower, median household income or more blue collar, these people are not getting in the weeds with the numbers. They don't know what to look for. And especially areas where there's not a lot of competition with lenders. Like, if you're the only mortgage lender in a more, like, blue collar town, you're setting the price. Like, you're not really competing with anyone local. You're competing with online people, but some people don't, and in that kind of demographic, don't want to do it on their phone or do it online. They're going to go to the place they've passed a million times, and they're not even going to know. They're not even going to know that there's different,
which is kind of
out there.
That's kind of counterintuitive to most businesses. Like, you think, like, oh, people with money will pay more, but, like, not when it comes to, like, finance.
I always think about this. Some of those people that you would call, like, a luxury buyer or higher price buyer, they often are sensitive to the numbers. They can easily get multiple quotes. They know how to, like, navigate that and do a little bit of research, do their due diligence. but they also really value the service and like a hassle. They will pay for not having headache. Right. So like, I'm not, that doesn't mean I'm going to upsell them on like a higher rate. We don't do that. Like our rate is what it is for everybody. But even if their bank maybe is like close to mine, maybe they're a little better, but they're dealing with like a 9-to-5 bank employee that's not taking calls after 5, not working weekends.
Well, I've seen you take calls at all hours.
Yeah. It's kind of, there's times where I think it's like funny where like, a couple days ago, I had one right before a jiu-jitsu class where a realtor wanted to make an offer that night, and I was like, I can do this, but I'm going to have to talk to this client at like 10. So if they're down for it, I'm down for it, and we did it. I had the offer in by midnight. But like to me, that's a funny thing to do. I'm like, no one's doing it. I'll fucking do it. This is hilarious. Like, here's the pre-approval at 11:30.
That's fire.
And it's it's a money-making opportunity, so I'm not going to like bitch about that. But yeah. So like,
but like a lot of people would though. A lot of people would be like, this is my time. Like, that's, like, it's not really like there's hard working, then there's working smart, then there's like time protectors who are like, I only work the hours of this to this.
Well, I'm trying, this is a big thing I've been trying to work on is my time management and how I just prioritize things in my life. A big part of why I started to get, we don't need to go back into jiu-jitsu, but a big part of what turned me into that was I feel like I climbed to a pretty high level in what I do over the last 2 or 3 years. So like, just as a reference, I closed 100 million in volume last year, which for someone in my role is a lot. It's like top 1% of loan officers in the country.
Give me clap hands.
Come on. Give me, thank you. I wanted the gunshot. Always looking for the gunshot. So I did that at like the detriment of everything else in my life.
I can relate to that.
I don't regret that. I do believe like outsized results requires outsized effort. Like you need to put in that. You're not going to accomplish that in a 9-to-5 structure. You can if you set up the right systems, but setting up the right systems is going to require that time investment. You're not going to just have the perfect system right off the bat where you don't need to work that extra time.
So is there like some businesses like you have to grind forever? Like I think construction's a lot like that. Like there's never you meet like bigger companies or more successful companies than ours or like more established.
Yeah.
And everybody I mean like my perspective is narrow, but like it seems like even at the most pinnacle levels, like they're still working hard as shit to keep it going. Do you think that like that initial effort that you put in the last couple years, like do you think you won't have to always do that because you'll be established kind of?
There's a couple things that come into mind, so hopefully I hit all of them. The first is like you decide what you want to accomplish and what you want to succeed. There's loan officers that look at it just like a job. I'm clocking in, I'm clocking out, phone's off. You're not going to reach me. I'm going to have my weekends to myself and my family. Nothing wrong with that.
No.
You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that. It's just you define what you want to go after and what you want to try to accomplish. I wanted to go. Like I wanted to see how far we can take this. I was like, I'm gonna put it in. So that's why I said it was at the detriment of everything else. Like I would sacrifice the time. I would make the trade-offs under the belief that what I'm doing is going to be more positive for my family and myself for the long run, and it has been. But a lot of the work I put, so I've been doing this for like 8 years now. A lot of the work I put in was just establishing the right relationships, which again, like over time, if you foster certain relationships, like they deepen where I have people that, were at my wedding that I do business with, or I've known for 6 years now, realtors, attorneys, financial advisors. If you can pick up a few new relationships every year, over time, you're going to have that strong base. Now, if your values aren't in line with those people, you're not going to make a connection where they want to work with you. So even if you meet a ton of people, if you're not bonding with them on some level, you don't have anyone sticking with you year after year. Every year you're looking for new business. I've sort of built it like a pyramid where like I've met people years ago that I still work with. I didn't lose that relationship.
So you don't burn bridges?
I try not to burn bridges. If I'm burning a bridge, and I could probably count like less than, on my hand how many times that's happened, it has to be something truly toxic where like either like your ethics are so off with mine, like you're lying constantly. Big thing is like you can't. if I'm your partner, you're a realtor or you're an attorney, you can't lie to me. Like, I need to know what we're doing. We got to be on the same page because there's a level of trust. You're trusting me, right, with your client and what's going on. You're trusting me to get it closed. I got to trust that you're not. And examples of where people lie is like having a buyer that they know is not going to live in the house, but they're going to call it a primary home to get better interest rate pricing or be able to put down a lower down payment. That's like that's a big thing. And it used to be way more casual that people would do that. I like to say, like, there's, when you close on a house, no one's knocking on your door a month later to see if you live there. But I tell people, I'm like, I don't know what they're going to come up with in the future, dude. I don't know what systems are going to come out for them to actually better verify this stuff. But you think banks don't know that's occurring? It's not in their interest to give you a lower rate, let you put down less money on a home that they know you're not living in, because investment properties have higher default rates. So that's why they're riskier to banks.
Yeah, you have to put more money down up front on an investment property.
There's like a stark contrast. Yeah, like primary home put down as low as 3%. Investment property, like you really got to put down at least 20, maybe 15, but really at least 20. Even then, the interest rate's going to be wildly different. So there's a huge benefit. But, I'll have realtors that are just repeatedly doing that, coaching their clients on doing that, and I don't want to have my hand in that at all. You reach a certain point where you're like...
Yeah, because if they audit your deals and a large percentage of your deals are that way, you're going to get in trouble.
All it takes is one, not even a lot of them.
Oh, shit.
One deal is going to make me... It can make me $1 million. Whatever the one deal is going to get, it's not worth putting me out of business for a decade.
Because they would suspend your license.
Yeah, man. Yeah, totally. I have licenses in 30 states. Like, any kind of felony like that, I know that's my livelihood, and I love what I do so much. I joke, I do not want to have to learn how to do anything else.
You seem like this year you're focusing more. I mean, it's late in the year. We'll say Q3 of this year. It seems like you are focusing more on, like, spending time with other people.
Yeah.
Doing, like, the jiu-jitsu. Like, we've been hanging out.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like you're less.
I've always thought that this is not my primary driver, but I've always thought that if you feel better about yourself, if you're feeling healthier and just more confident, that carries through in other areas, including business. I will feel way different if I'm walking to a meeting or a presentation or happy hour or something.
And you could just choke everyone in the room. He just starts going, like, shoulder locking people up. He's like, you want to see what I saw? This ripping shoulders.
Like, I always just knew that would be a natural byproduct of it. But I'm such a subscriber to, like, you have to take care of yourself before you could take care of others. Like, and especially being a father and having a family, like, living by example, trying to set that for my kids. So what I was saying earlier is, like, I put in so much work over the last few years, but there were moments, legit, it sounds cliche or corny, there were moments that, like, I would look in the mirror, like, after showering, like, late at night or something, and just, like, not being happy with myself, like, and for what I do,
because, like, you weren't, like, refilling the tank.
And I just knew I could be better. It's like, physically, like, I could be in better shape, I could be healthier, like, I could see an image of myself that I'm not living, and I've felt that way for years. Where it's like, dude, just we gotta get on the path. You
brought the path back around.
We gotta get on the path. Just a little side note, what kind of spurred that was I started doing Invisalign, as you guys know.
Okay.
And they told me it was going to take 18 months. And I was like, fuck, that's a long-ass time. Really, it's not, depending on your perspective. But I was like, what else can I accomplish in 18 months? I was like, what can I attach to this Invisalign timeline? Like, not only can I get my teeth fixed, like, can I get in shape? Can I get better at jiu-jitsu over, like, 18 months? Like, that's a solid chunk of time to, like, transform a bit. So I started to, like, rope in some other stuff.
Dude, if you continue going to jiu-jitsu the way you go, with the frequency and the intent, which is more important, like, you'll be a blue belt in 2 years.
I won't.
Not that, like, you should be, like,
I won't hold
on
that,
the belt race.
Yeah, I won't hold that to myself, but I have that intrinsic belief. And that's why from the beginning, I don't mind getting my ass whooped. I don't mind. I know that if I continually do this, there's going to be a payoff.
Yeah, Evan and I were talking about you, I think right in front of your fucking face. Can't remember. I'm pretty sure you were, like, getting just smashed. Okay. And Evan was like, dude, your boy just, like, he's connecting the dots in such a way. And I was like, I know. Like, I don't want to, like, like, inflate you too much. I don't think that's a thing. But like, it's very impressive. Like some people come to jiu-jitsu forever and they just get the same shit done to them.
Yeah.
Like I'll let the same stuff happen to me, but like I'll keep trying to work it out. Like if I'm like, dude, why do I keep getting stuck in here? I'll keep doing it to myself.
Yeah.
To see like, all right, where am I going wrong? But it took me a long time to like be aware of that. Whereas like a lot of people keep doing the same stuff over and they don't connect ever. Like you're asking questions that people with 6 weeks experience don't typically ask. So it's been like really nice to see like, oh, like Tyler's like I've introduced a decent amount of friends to jiu-jitsu and very few of them like are still in like still training.
I liked coming in. How often do you like start something new? I mean, you could do this all the time, but for me, it's like I haven't started something brand new where like I'm in the room and I don't know a thing, but I can see there's like levels to this. Like I felt the same way coming into my work, what I do, where I was like, people are putting up these crazy numbers. I'm hearing what people are making. I want to know there's levels to this because let's see how far I can go. So like that's the same reason I don't mind getting tapped out by the black belt. So I'm like, this is cool that you could be this good. I'm like, I want to try to figure that out.
I was explaining to Tyler a while ago on like, it was a Thanksgiving and there was a Thanksgiving open mat and we were training like literally on Thanksgiving. And this guy, because it was open mat and it was like it was like a Gracie style gym. So like it's easy to find them. There was this dude from Texas, Austin, Texas. This kid showed up and he was a black belt. And I'm like, dude, we're like the same age. I'm like, how long have you been training? He's like, well, I wrestled. And then I started training jiu-jitsu when I was like 15, 16. And I watched him rolling with somebody who was also a black belt. And the way this kid from Texas was moving, granted, his knee popped out like 20 minutes later and he went home early. Christ. But like, he probably had knee replacement or something before. Because like the way he moved and like he grabbed the cross collar grab and like the way he moved, like posted his hand on the ground with the grip and like moved around this dude, it looked kind of like a spider. And I watched him just like the way he moved his body was just very like, it looked very natural. It kind of looked like, you know, the girl in the ring that's just like, it looked like that, but fluid. It looked like your body just bent in such a way that like, I didn't realize that was a thing.
Yeah, man.
And then I looked and I was like, oh my God, like this dude is leaps and bounds above like somebody who's been training for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
And he's been training like 10 or 15.
That's the intent, like you were saying.
And it's just like
you
get those people that like, there's a guy I know that like I used to train with who's a blue belt. He's been a blue belt for like his entire life. And he keeps joking with people online like, oh, dude, like you just opened your own gym, I'm coming in for my purple. And I'm like, dude, you don't train anymore. Yeah. Like you're never getting your purple belt. Like if you get a purple belt, I'm going to come and choke you with it.
I can't even imagine saying something
like I don't like the belt race. I think the belt is for, and like the stripes. It's like, it's not like people sometimes get caught up in being like, I need other people to see me at this level.
Yeah.
But like if you're walking around like that's why jiu-jitsu is such a humbling sport. Like if I just like trained someplace and they just gave me a purple belt.
Yeah.
And then I went to a place that like I don't normally train at and like every blue belt in that room and maybe a white belt gets the better of me.
Yeah.
Like I would feel like a fraud.
Yeah.
So like when you start doing that belt chase, like there's certain people that like have been training a really, really long time and like they're going to worlds or like different tournaments and they're smashing everyone. It's like, all right, it's time for that dude to get a belt. Like, it's like he needs to stop coming to the blue belt comps or the purple belt or brown. Like, there's people I've seen like that sandbaggers.
Yeah.
Where they're like, oh, I need to get one gold and like then I'll move up. Where it's like, that's also kind of messed up, but I think it's less messed up than like if you're trying to, less messed up for yourself.
Yeah.
Like it affects other people, so that sucks. But like if you're trying to like convince the world around you that you're a certain level just because of the color of your belt, but you can't back that up.
Right.
That's the worst. Like that bothers me. Not that I look down on those people, but like when I think of it, if I were to do that, it would like I would get in I probably would stop training because like I would feel so like down. that like you just like that's why I like no-gi so much.
Yeah.
Because like there is no belt. Like you can come in and there's 10 dudes in the class and you're like, I have no idea the skill level of anyone. That's
exactly how it felt going in, except
so
everybody
it's like,
looked like a killer to me.
I mean, the thing with open mats at Evans is like a lot of those guys are black belts.
Yeah.
So it's just you can't if they're older and they're there on a Friday evening, they're probably a black belt. Because that's like, and that's what's cool about Evans Gym too, is like you have a lot of new people, but he's also has so many friends that'll roll in.
Oh yeah.
So like your learning opportunities are so great.
I was gonna say earlier that's like half what I like about that place the most is everybody in there. Even my first class, everybody was so welcoming about it.
That's also another really great thing about Evans.
I mean, like I had some serious anxiety going in there, like
I'll bet.
Like Evan did it well, where he like shook my hand, welcomed me. So he didn't like not acknowledge me, but he also didn't be like, "Hey everyone, this is Tyler." Like,
hey everybody, put their shoes in the circle. We're gonna do it.
He just began the class, and people took it upon themselves to welcome me. And like Killian was the first person to come up to me, and everybody was so supportive. I was very open with everybody. Like, this is my first day ever, and everybody was just really cool about it. And that's because day one, I was like, "What an amazing experience!"
He holds a standard.
Yeah, he cultivates that culture.
I think you've seen him blow down on someone where he's like, "You just get out of my gym."
You got to pluck the weeds, bro.
Yeah, Evan has no problem being like, you don't belong here. Yeah. Like if you have bad energy or you're just like a bad apple, he'll give you a chance to like prove him wrong.
Yeah.
But the second you do some bad apple stuff, he's like, dude, there's the door. And people, I've only seen him do it once. He's probably only had to do it once.
Yeah.
But like he is very like, that's why like it's more than just a gym to me now. Yeah. Because it's like everybody there has become friends.
Yeah. It's like, what he said though is like if you don't take the first one out and they bring their other shithead friends in, now you have a much bigger problem. It's harder to kick 5 people out than 1.
Yeah,
you know, and the whole culture gets
he's
effed
really
up,
wise
dude.
That way.
I respected it. I was like, you didn't rub anyone wrong, and it's cool to see someone actually care that much about the culture there.
Yeah, he's not about making money. He should make money.
But see, because like my point is the parallel with what I was doing, like that shit comes. You cannot think you need it. Like you need to, you know, livelihood. You need it to get by. But the moment you start focusing all in on that, you're just missing everything else. You know, the client you're trying to land, the person you're trying to get to join the gym does not give a shit about your monetary goals or you trying to make money. There's not a single benefit in that to them.
Yeah.
What are you know, so I've just been, you know, back to the work thing, just completely focused on value. Where can I ask myself that to this day constantly, how could I make this experience better for my consumer? Like I will always ask myself that, like, how can we increase the value proposition to the person? Like, even if it's great, you know, I'm not trying to like break what's working, but like, there's just little things, you know, I'm like, that person, their file's super clean, everything's on track, but like a week goes by and they don't hear from me. Like that causes, they don't know everything's fine. I know everything's fine. They still need to just hear me tell them everything's fine. It's that simple. I work that into my system now. Like I have certain minimum requirements for the people on my team as far as communications go with the clients, which is like, you cannot allow a week to go by. It's actually closer to like every 2 days. I've started to trend more that way, which is like I'm testing. I'd rather be like over communicating than under communicating, to the point of like it might be a little annoying, but I'd rather start that way, just so people get that check in. Because like again, I could go 3 weeks. Like I could have your file done 3 weeks before you got to close, but like you still want to hear from me. You still want to know everything's okay, because you're just going to get in your head. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So
yeah. I try to do those little touches. Is that because like you lost deals because you didn't communicate, or is this just are these just little tweaks that you think will be better?
This is my personal belief, because my entire business is built off referrals. I don't pay for any advertising, any marketing. Is all word of mouth, and it is all built on the experience. So like the positive consumer experience is what drives the next referral. And like I see it as a wasted opportunity. Even if I did what I was supposed to do, your loan closed on time, you got a great rate and all this other stuff. If you weren't really impressed and like I didn't connect further than that, you're not like, if I just did my job, you don't really have a drive to refer your friend to me a month later. You know, if you're not really thinking about me, and like, because once you're closed, you're closed. You know, you're not thinking, thank God I closed, like you're done. But like if you remember that we talked at 10:30 one night because you were super nervous, and like I took the time to like give you the platform and let's just talk about what's bothering you about it. You're gonna remember that phone call. You know, when we close, I'm gonna leave an impression, and that's what I'm going for. And I try not to force that. I just try to be there for my clients. And like if I will look back at sometimes and I'll see the client, I'll be like, you know, I didn't talk to them enough. Like I don't feel like I'm not trying to force a relationship on anyone, but there's times where like I didn't put enough effort myself to be proactive about reaching out to you. Like maybe I missed a call or something like that, or maybe I was slow to respond. Like that stuff bothers me. If I know when I knocked it out the park, I know on that last phone call when we're going over the numbers, you know, you're super excited and like I can tell the energy that I did what I was trying to do. I made that impression, and I know it'll pay. I don't know when, but I know it's going to come back at some point in the future. If I close 10 people in a month or whatever it is, if I don't feel that strongly about like 90% of them, I know I gotta tighten something up. So the goal there is just to try to drive the referral and leave the impression on people.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know who said it, but I've ever since I heard this notion, I always try and like think about it in times of like stress or conflict. Mm-hmm. It was somebody on like probably a podcast or something talking about how like it was probably Andy Frizella. Shout out to Big Andy.
Yep, legend,
commander,
another commander dude.
He's definitely a commander.
Absolutely.
A crisis or like a conflict is like an opportunity to build a more loyal customer.
Love that.
Because if everything when he said this, I was like, wow, that makes entirely like it makes so much sense. And up until that point, I was always striving to do everything right.
Yep.
Like if something went wrong, it was like a reflection on my inability to do it right.
Yep.
And then when he said like a conflict or a crisis is like a way for you to show what lengths you're willing to go
Absolutely.
To make something right,
Absolutely.
you will build a more loyal customer. So like almost be grateful for like a conflict or a situation or a mistake.
Yep.
Because then like you'll be able to like show your like the merit to your character that like you wouldn't have been able to present.
Yep.
Humbly
100%.
Without that problem. So now when like situations arise and there's like a super needy customer or a customer that's just like texting all the time to me or is super involved, or maybe we messed up and like the countertops got templated.
Dude, in your work, I'm sure. Yeah,
there's so many little things
that are not even in your control, but come back to you.
Zero control, but they are our responsibility.
Yes.
So like you telling the customer, like, what's a good example of this? Oh, the kitchen in Newtown that we were trying to finish in time for Thanksgiving. Yeah. It wasn't our project to start, but the contractor that was originally responsible for it, you know, dropped the ball in a variety of ways, and the customer decided to like relieve that contractor and hired us to like fix it.
The metal bar.
It's the metal one.
Which way?
Just righty-tighty. So if you push it away from you now, it'll loosen it, and then you can move it up and then tie it down. Dang, dude. You want me to help you?
No, yeah, I got it.
Dude, did the mic disconnect?
Yeah. No, I muted it so you wouldn't hear this.
I want to make sure you keep your example,
though. Everybody always has such trouble with that. Or maybe just one other person was like, it was just drooping on them. You remember that last week? That was funny as hell.
With, what's his name? The race car driver.
Yeah, Colin.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Project went wrong in the kitchen.
Yeah, so we were there Thanksgiving Eve. I had two guys there. Mm-hmm. Trevor is like
stud,
an outright stud. Like he felt very connected to this customer and like getting it done and like making sure they were happy and stuff. So he was there, and it was like 7:30 at night on Thanksgiving Eve.
Oh, jeez.
And like I heard that they were still there at like I was getting ready to leave, and it was like 4:00, and they were like, "Oh, Trevor's still clocked in at that job."
Yeah.
And I literally I was like, "Oh fuck!" Like I texted my wife, and I was like, "I don't know what time I'm gonna be home, but like I've gotta go in on this." And like I felt like Trevor was doing everything for us. Yeah. Like he was making the company look really good. He was doing it because Trevor's a good guy.
But you felt.
But I was like, hey, if like Trevor is there,
yeah,
I can't go. I couldn't. It was like the same thing with like you. Like I very much like wanted to go home and like screw off and like get ready to like eat turkey and everything. Yeah. But like I was like, dude, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I was like, I have to stop here. And like when I got there, I realized that like I was like, I got there and I was like, oh shit, even with my set of hands and skills, like we're not gonna make it. But like the fact that like finally I had to tell them, I'm like, dude, we're done. Like we're done for today.
Yeah.
And like I don't know, like Trevor's a stud, but like he was still willing to keep trying. I'm like, dude, we're not gonna make it. But like the customer saw, like I could see it on their face, like man. We got their kitchen finished enough in an already bad situation so that they could have people over for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And like I looked at that and like
awesome.
That customer, like I forget what he said to me like later on, but like I realized I was like, oh, that was one of those times.
Yeah, man. It's a blessing and curse to care that much. I think it's mainly...
It kind of sucks.
It kind of sucks, but it is, like, the differentiator. I mean, I'll see people come to me, and I'm like, how did this fucking dude just give you such a shitty offer or, like, drop the ball so bad or, like, miss a question on your application and now you don't qualify? And they could have figured that out in 10 fucking seconds and then not care and, like, just drop you. I don't... Ask my wife, this shit eats at me.
Well, that's like what I was going to say.
Wrong, man.
When you care that much, and like for a long time, I didn't realize I cared that much.
That's where the stress management is like vital because it'll just eat at you if you don't have a way of dealing with it.
If you're not aware that you care that much, which I was completely blind. I thought I was I thought it was just like, this is how you do. This is this is required.
Gotcha.
And then I realized I was like, I would take and still do. I take everything like so personally.
Yep.
And, like, people are like, oh, don't take it so personally. I'm like, how am I not going to take it personally right now?
Yeah.
Like, I just spent the better part or more than a decade trying to get to this point, and now you're rocking the boat.
Yeah.
And, like, how am I not supposed to have a problem with you?
Yeah.
And, like, that's kind of like when I see, especially other contractors, like, taking advantage of people or taking deposits and never showing up again.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't imagine, like, it bothers me at that level. Like, if I don't go above and beyond, I can't relax. Like, if I'd gone home, like, if I'd been like, you know what, Trevor's got it. That's his job. He knew what he signed up for and then just went home.
Yeah.
Like, I would have been sitting on the couch just thinking about that.
Dude, that is what creates the opportunity for us to excel. Like, I think you have the same kind of dynamic in your field. Like, I like to joke that if you asked 10 people that just bought a house how their experience was, how many would say it wasn't a great one? Like, it was stressful. It was like they kept asking me all this stuff. It was terrible. That would speak negatively on it. Same thing with somebody that got like a renovation done or a build done. I don't think you're going to have 10 out of 10 who had a great experience. I think it's be close to like half. You know, that's like...
I think it's impossible to get 10 out of 10, but we try very hard for that.
No.
Like,
I'm not saying 10 out of yours. I'm saying that use 10 different people. I think there's a lot of shitty people in both fields.
Yeah, like, but like my point off of that was like, we'll have, I would say, closer to 10 out of 10. We do have like customers that like things don't go right.
Yeah.
But the customers that we have that had those 5 out of 10 experiences before,
right,
are way better customers than customers that have never had that bad experience.
I just think like that's the opportunity. Like, I hear of something going on, like I'll get a referral and I'll like get myself brought up to speed and like just hear about the shit that was going on, and I'm like, I get lit up about it. I'm like, you don't even have to use me, just don't do what they're telling you to do. Like, that bothers me that people profit off not doing the right thing. That bothers me deeply.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that comes down to, like, I used to think when I was younger that, like, you're in business to make money.
Yeah.
Like, nobody goes into business to not make money.
That was the first attraction I had.
Still true.
First attraction I had was money.
Yeah.
But what kept me this long is not that, you know.
But over time, like, when I would have like, I would make mistakes as like a young lad.
Yeah.
And like realize I was like, dude, why did this not go so smooth? Or like,
yeah,
why wasn't this better? Or different things. And then you realize like, if you're in it for just money, no business will ever, like, it won't ever work. Like, you can make money going after money. There's plenty of people that are just after the money.
Yeah.
But like the people that are like next level or, you know, look like that.
Yeah.
Usually what I found, and it's not always, I can't say it's always that, like some people are just schemy or like are good at numbers or different things. But if you are in it to like help people like the way you are, you go way further.
100%.
Because I'm not like, if you're not like a genius or you're not like inventing something that's like revolutionary or you don't have that like competitive advantage that you're doing something like you are the market because nobody else is doing it.
Sure.
You can get rich doing that.
Yeah.
But if you're doing something like mortgages or construction, which everybody does, like anybody can do this.
Oh, yeah.
If you're not like operating on the like a value system, you really don't go that far. Well, I've seen people that have been in construction their whole life, like 40 years, and they're like, yeah, if I could do it all over again, like I wouldn't, it was my partner's fault, or it was this guy's fault, or, you know, I got the recession in 2008 got me and put me out of business. It's like, but that happened to everyone. That everybody had a difficult partnership. Everybody experienced 2008. Like everybody was there for that. Like, why did it crush you and why didn't you make it back? Like the people you see like overcoming those things no matter what, usually from me studying these people, like have an unruly value system. Dude, take the deal right now. No. Give us a sample. His phone's ringing.
That's a done deal now.
That would actually be lit, but I'm not gonna.
That'd be so funny. Be like, oh yeah, you got the deal, and they're like, oh, this is so and so calling from like it'd be like a telemarketer.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, you need to vote for the red party, and Tyler's like, you got the deal.
Yeah, you got to do.
Just flexed his deal.
The market will absolutely squeeze out those people. I just think I'm more about the looking myself in the mirror thing, and when no one's watching, and what I'm thinking. I was just saying about this the other day. Like the guys that whatever for like my field, if you're charging the higher rates and you're making the more money and you're ripping people off, like if your neighbor wanted your help, you know, and you like your neighbor, and they want your help with the loan, like how do you in good conscience help them out with the loan knowing that they could be doing better elsewhere? I don't know, like how the hell, I don't know how people do that. Like I don't have even a half a second thought of that when I'm working with people. I'm like, I know I'm giving you something below market average. I know the service I'm delivering. So clear conscious about it. I don't know how those people go on.
Maybe it's just different personality types. I'm like reading like a lot about that now to try and like understand how to communicate better, because there's like communicating well, but if you can understand like and subtly identify like, oh, and we can do like another episode on this because we'll get in the freaking weeds. But like
communication,
if like I can like, there's levels, say there's like 1 through 10 people, and like, you know, and I'm not gonna like do the actual numbers, but like say 1's a perfectionist, 2 is like a caretaker, 3 is a something, and like each level of that stuff, be like I can identify and like look at different things if you understand it and be like, all right, Tyler's probably like a mixture of these numbers. I know as a person how to talk to you best, whereas Gilmar might be different. So like if I'm leading both of you into battle and Tyler's one type, I might tell Tyler, be like, dude, you fucking better get down there and to handle business, whereas Gilmar, I'm gonna go to Gilmar and be like, hey, like you do a great job. Like some people need to hear they're doing a good job, whereas some people need to hear that they're, you know, a piece of shit. And then they'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna show you, and then I'm gonna be like, see what I did there? I just so I think people, like I've learned that people, when like there's been times where I've experienced like, especially like mortgage folks or realtors, where you're like, that person seemingly has no awareness to the fact that they're shady as hell. They don't realize it. And then like now that I'm like studying this type of stuff, I'm like starting to realize, I'm like, once being self-aware is a gift and a complete punishment. Because like you might be the same way as me. Is like I'll go home and I'll mull something over. I'll be thinking about the same thing for hours until I'm like comfortable with it. And that's a prison. Yeah. Whereas like other people, I'll be like, how are they like making YouTube videos or doing different things, and they literally have no idea what they're talking about, but they're so confident. And when you talk to them one-on-one, like you're expecting them to be like, I know, I'm just scheming, but they don't. Yeah. They double down. And like then I started to realize, I was like, those folks just see they're no awareness, like they're just doing a process that they've like been rewarded for, so like they don't think to ever be better because they're just like they've never hit that stopping block.
The part you're reminding me of too is like being genuine in how you're communicating. Like I unknowingly, like I'm just myself with the people that are coming to me for help or questions, and it doesn't matter if like you're a first-time buyer looking to get it or you're like a high-power CEO. The one thing I always know in the back of my head is like, however high you are in your field is how high I am in my field, and you're not going to know more about this than I do. Yeah. So like that dynamic is set right off the bat. But I don't put on, even when I first began, I never put on like a sales mode. What you just made me think of is like, picture times where you're dealing with like a car salesman, any kind of sales environment, and that person's putting on their sales personality. It's so obvious and it's so terrible. Like it's never, you know what I mean? It's such a put off that I've won business strictly off of just being able to connect with them more, and they'll leave me the review and just say, I have reviews that I'll never forget, where like one of my earlier ones is like, Tyler was the first guy who saw us as people and not a number. And that always stuck with me.
You seem very like transparent. Do you ever have difficulties with like, because like I try to be as transparent with everyone. Yeah. Almost to a fault. Like sometimes I'll communicate too much information and people think like maybe I'm talking shit is a good example. Where like, it's like, no, I'm just like, I'm not talking shit. I'm just trying to like go like, and then like, so I find myself like catering to kind of people's levels of being able to hear the truth, where it's like sometimes like some people I can be like, dude, you're messing up on such a level right now, and just like blunt, hard, honest truth. Whereas like in the past, like that's gotten me into trouble, where it's like people, they don't want to hear that. And then it causes a jam for myself.
If you're talking about people on the team, this is what you nailed earlier, is like you have to know how to communicate with people on your team. Everyone's going to respond to criticism differently. The way you deliver it needs to be different. And funny thing is, I know they have to do the same thing with me. Like they have to figure out how to approach me about things, and I try to make myself approachable, understanding how they are and what's going to put them off. With clients, it's interesting because I absolutely try to be transparent about everything. I think the transparency and the education is what gives people the confidence to move forward on something. When they feel like they know it, when they feel like we have the trust, they don't have to worry as much about the unknown. And the way you illuminate the unknown is the education. That's why I take my time to show people, here's, some people get a loan. The loan officer just pushes the loan. You're getting an FHA loan. They don't know why. They don't know what other types of loan products are out there. I want to do a little quick discussion on, listen, there's like a dozen different loan products we could use here. I'm using an FHA loan because your credit's below 700 score, and the rates on FHA loans are not as sensitive to scores under 700. If you were getting a Fannie Mae loan, your rate would be 0.5% higher. Your payment would be $300 more a month. Something like that, or like now I scratch that itch that maybe you didn't even know you had, where it's like, here's why we're doing this. So I try to maintain the transparency with requests or with problems. I would like to let people know enough so that they understand why there's an issue, or what the problem is, or why I'm asking them for something.
So like, for instance, like if somebody has a low credit score, but they don't have zero awareness of that, like they're like, well, why can't I get this? And you're like, well, your credit shit.
Well, I'll bring it back to the numbers. Well, like, well, there are some people that if they're not getting it, I have to take it back to a very fundamental level and just say, I try not to bring any emotion into it. It's not personal. I do like to bring it back to the numbers. Like, if you're not qualifying for this house because your income is not sufficient to support the payment, I will try to walk you through the math of, listen, this isn't about you. This isn't about, me liking you, me not liking you. The numbers don't work. Here's the numbers. Here's how banks determine this. I just take the emotion out of it for better and for worse. And I'll tell people that, like, you know, you have $200,000 in cash in the bank. I know you have a lot of money. That's a problem in the mortgage world because we can't source that money. Like, it doesn't have to do with you. The way the shit is set
meaning
up.
You can't source it, meaning like that money's just there. There's no way to be like...
Cash is like a big no-no in real estate because you can't prove... banks have to adhere to anti-money laundering statutes.
So money laundering? You know, what's that?
A little casual washing the funds.
You got to buy, if you want to wash money, car wash.
Yeah, man. There we go.
Go buy a car wash.
You sound like you've done this before. So stuff like that, I try to make it about the number, and then there are times where there's not getting it, and I have to be a little more blunt, but I will progress there, you know, and sometimes you learn people, like, appreciate the honesty. There's people that respect the honesty and can take that. There's times where I was, like, delivering bad news or something. I was, like, kind of nervous how you'd react, but then you realize they'll thank you for being honest about it. So there's a feeling out process required. I'm sure you have to do the same thing with your clients. Where, like, I need to figure out how this person communicates and what, if they're super sensitive or they respect me being a little more blunt with them. You know, and that's the concept of mirroring and matching, is if someone's very blunt, I'll be blunt with them back, you know.
I appreciated most when you pre-approved me was like, and I don't know if this was just because we were friends, like you made it like, it was like the easiest thing ever. Like you gave me no bullshit. You're like, just send me your taxes and I'll take care of this. And then you sent me some spreadsheets. I reviewed them. I asked you a few questions, and then that's what, like, there was no, like, in the past when I've had to do it, it's like literally like, oh, well, we don't have this from you. We need to send you this.
Yeah.
All right. And then you get like 18 million emails later, and you're like, I don't even want to buy this place.
Dude,
I don't even want to do this anymore. I usually just push that shit off on Ariel. Sorry.
That part,
like, she knows it, but like she's like, oh, I don't need to do anything. I was like, no, Tyler answered all my questions.
The part you just mentioned about the follow-up is like one of my favorite things. And again, different schools of thought, different sales philosophies. I keep it laid back. Look at the hand on the mic stand. You know what I mean? I'm chilling.
Yeah.
Right? So if I pre-approve you or whatever, I'm not calling you every day after. And I'll tell people, hey, man, I'm going to get you set up. So if you need to make a move, you can jump on it. I'm going to have you ready to go. You're going to be pre-approved.
Yeah.
If you see something. I don't care if it's in a month, a year, 2 years. You know where I'm at. I'm here for, you know, when you need me. There's plenty of people in my business, and I'm sure outside of it, that think you need to do the follow-up. You need to make this many calls. You need to have this many touches before the sale generates. I just personally don't do that. I am uncomfortable doing that. I don't enjoy bothering people. It becomes like very obvious that I'm trying to generate the sale. I'm sure I lose business, by the way, from people that months later do something and they haven't heard from me. But like on the other hand, I have clients that tell me, I've applied to 4 different banks in the last 2 weeks. You're the only one that's leaving me alone. Everybody else had to block their number. It's like, so I don't even know how to balance that out in my head where like I lose business, but I also gain business from people like appreciating that. And I guess I just operate the same way I do. I do not, if I'm thinking about the decision, I do not want you to call me every single day. Like, you might have already won the business. You might lose the business if I'm hiring you for something because you're going to bother me about it so much or make it so much about you.
I'm dealing with the situation like that. I don't
want to work with you. So, like, I do not do that.
It's the worst. Like, we tried to buy a van a few weeks ago, and I called the
Ford fucking van calls now, bro.
The Ford dealership in Westchester, right? And it's
van peddlers are bothering.
It gets worse.
Oh, no.
So they have pictures of the van. Was the van I wanted.
Yeah.
I don't know the names of vans. So like I'm like, "Oh, this is like perfect for the plumbing business. Like we need to get this. The price is right."
Like in a line?
The price was right because it was the wrong van for the pictures. The van that the price was for was a insufficient piece of equipment. The pictures
that was a happy little accident.
It. So the guy calls me and he goes, "Yeah, so I'm guessing you saw the pictures and blah blah blah." Like, the pictures aren't it's like the wrong pictures. I literally was like, all right, I'm not driving down to Westchester to see something that I don't want.
Of course.
And the guy's like, oh, dude, totally understand. Somebody from that goddamn dealership has been calling me like every 3 fucking days for 3 weeks now. I'm not even kidding. Like, the last person, I was so rude to them on the phone. I was like, look, what's your name? I was like, all right, Jerry. Listen, his name wasn't Jerry, but I'm not going to air out Kevin. I mean, sorry, Kevin. But he's like, oh, whatever. And I was like, yeah, it was like a van like that, but it had like toolbox body. Yeah. So it was like the perfect thing.
Okay.
But it was like the van that it was actually, the VIN number was for like a little transit, like that little fucking turd guard that like the exterminator drives around in. Mm-hmm. Yeah, look at the difference. No. It's a mini transit. Yeah, no, go down. Stop, left hand, that one right there. Yo, so it was like not even like, it wasn't even a comparable car.
Yeah.
It'd be like calling for a fucking Suburban and getting a Honda Civic. Yeah. I literally, so the last guy called, dude, I'm not even kidding you, for 3 weeks, at least 3 times a week, they'd call. And the last dude, I was like, look, man, I don't know how to tell you guys this. I've asked the last couple guys to like take me off at whatever register, like take my phone number out of your system. I was like, no offense. I was like, now I'm at the point where I might sue you guys to give me the van and the pictures for the price of the transit. You're pissing me off that much. And the guy was like, oh, excuse me. And I was like, no, like you guys keep calling me to like peddle this van that I've already talked to somebody about. And you guys have the wrong picture on, you have the van I want in the pictures, not around the right listing. So like, you're messed up. I was like, and the last guy, dude, I let him have it. I was like, and at the end of the call, I was like, dude, nothing personal, but like I legit could sue you guys for misrepresentation right now. I don't know if I could, but it sounded like legit.
He probably got scared.
But he was literally like, okay, I totally get it. I was like, dude, the van, like, isn't the van. I don't want a minivan. I was like, I need a truck. I'm trying to do plumbing. I was like, what are you guys doing? Put the right pictures on the fucking van.
They all do that shit too, man.
I hate buying cars.
All do that shit.
And I'm like, I know about cars and I know how to get deals on cars because like I know, like I'm really good at like finding that loophole. Like the Lexus,
sure.
I bought like, I literally was cruising. I would just like, and this is the way you get deals on cars. You constantly have to be looking. Mm-hmm. So like literally one Saturday, like Ariel wanted the Lexus. Like I was like gonna build like an off-road truck for her or whatever, and literally like I'm just cruising the thing at the gym, just taking up the bench press, cruising the car dealerships, and that Lexus 1 year out of lease pops up.
Yep.
And it was $20,000 less than a brand new one, and they're the exact same car, brand new. So we show up to the dealership. I called them. I was like, I do not like put it someplace.
Yeah.
I was like, I will send you a deposit right now. I'm coming to buy this car. No questions asked. I knew it was like we got to get this car off the lot price.
Yeah, don't let them jock it up.
So I was like, I know somebody's coming to buy this car today. It wasn't there yesterday. It's there today. I came in and they tried to sell me a brand new one. They're like, oh, do you want to see the new ones? We have more colors than just black. And I was like, honestly,
is that for shit, dude?
Yeah.
I was like, honestly,
this shit.
I was like, I don't know. And then they changed salespeople on me. Like the other dude decided we weren't actually going to buy a car that day. And I was like, idiot.
Yeah.
I'm ready to buy. I'm trying to waste as minimal time as possible buying a car today.
I thought you were saying the part where like they've done this so many times where they bring out the closer. You say like, I'm not interested.
They brought him
bring
out.
out the manager.
They brought him out. And then I was like,
have some authority.
I was like, all right. But like the closer they brought out was a Russian lady. She walked up and I hit her with the Gable straight up. I saw her coming. I was like, Gable gang, represent.
I didn't see that coming, dude.
But she walks us out to the parking lot, shows us the brand new ones, and I go, what's the difference about this car and that car over there, the one that like we came to look at? And she goes, oh, nothing.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so
I'll take that one.
I was like, okay, so right.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, okay. We'll go sit in the one you want, and then we'll do the paperwork, and you'll be out to here. And she gave me. I was expecting like.
At least she made that easy.
I was expecting a battle from this woman. She was jeweled up. She was ready to go, and she just took us over. I was like, she's like, this is the one. I was like, yeah, and she's like, okay, we do paperwork.
Could have lost the sale, dude, by how they handled that though.
But they're lucky
that was such a good deal. You're gonna get it.
The same thing for my truck. Like, dude, I bought my truck like a month before the whole car market exploded.
Yeah.
And I got in there. I was like, look, like, what can we do on the price? They're like, this truck is priced to disappear.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, just do the paperwork. But I was calling them all day. I was like, dude, what can I send you so I don't have to be there all night?
I know.
I got there at 5 o'clock.
Dude. It's so unavoidable.
5 o'clock. I was there until 10 p.m.
There you go.
Fuck that.
It's so unavoidable, man.
Yeah,
dude, like, our title thing's jammed up. And I'm like, what do I got to pay them just to, like, move me to the top of the list? Like, I'm the guy that wants to leave, just wants to sign the papers and leave. That's what I strive for in life, is to get to the level where I just show up, sign the papers, and leave.
I know, or you have somebody do it for you.
Yeah, the guy.
I'm gonna send my guy.
Even if you order a car online, is that process?
Caravana probably shows up to your house, and like it takes them 5 hours to lower the trailer. You still got to get that experience. Like, I only know, like, one of our customers, I don't really know them that well, bought a car off Caravana, but I think that's just because they refuse to deal with the public. But I don't know that they actually, like, I don't know what their experience was. That was the first person I've ever heard. I wasn't even there for the thing. One of our guys told me that, like, a Caravana thing, like, delivered I was like, damn, I wish I could have, like, that was the one person that I could have asked, like, what was it like to buy a car from a vending machine?
Yeah, bro.
You know
it better be easy, bro. That's because that's their whole thing. There's like an irony to me about some mortgage companies. Like, that's their whole thing is like online, quick and easy, and they're like the slowest. It's like they
get you trapped in. Like, well, I've already filled out 14 forms. I'm invested now. Fuck.
Yeah, that's a tough thing too that I deal with at times. Is people feel like people don't even realize you could switch. Like you
could just pull out.
If you want to be a scumbag, you could apply to 3 banks at the same time.
Dang.
Like, it's not illegal to do that. It sucks to do that. It's not a great thing to do that.
It's like playing golf with 3 golf balls.
The opposite. I made a little video years ago about I had a cab driver that worked in New York City, and he worked 2 full-time jobs. He worked like 80 hours a week. He drove cabs at night, and I think he worked in a hospital during the day or something like that. Foreigner, like, did not speak great English, and came to me unfamiliar with the process in general, very clearly getting ripped off. I identified that right away. I told him what document to send me where it has all the numbers, and I already knew, like, this dude's getting taken. So number one, remind me of this, didn't even know he could switch. He thought, like, legally you're locked in. I've heard of people, loan officers, lying to people and telling them, you got to close. You can't, just bold-faced lie.
Damn, that's crazy.
Complete lie. And I have to be the one to tell them. And now they're like, who do I believe? And obviously, hopefully I'm doing enough to garner the trust where, like, okay, I trust Tyler on it. But that guy was a shining example where I was like, dude, that person does not deserve your business. They do not deserve to get paid by taking advantage of you. Switching is how you punch them right back in the face, dude. Like, they already started your loan. They're not going to close it. Like, you don't need to do anything else. You don't need to say anything to them. It's all you need to do to make this right for you. Again, that shit, again, bothers me, bro. People getting taken advantage of and just not knowing. There's so much to know, and there's so much people don't know about, like, just simple rights like that, bro, about you could switch. You know, you can pull multiple quotes. You can switch mid-deal. You got to do it right. You know what I mean? It's one thing to work with someone that knows what they're doing. Then you see some random-ass offer online, and you want to give that a shot, and you ghost the person that was doing the good job in pursuit of something better that really isn't better because you didn't know how to do your due diligence on vetting that ad to see if the numbers are real or not. I always tell people, if you're responding to something you saw on a website, these companies know your habit is to believe lower rate means better for me, right? That's simple. Oh, my guy's getting me, 7%, like where rates are now. I saw this ad for 6.5. Like, I know lower's better, not thinking the one step further, which is like, what is that going to cost me? What am I going to be paying additional at closing to get just that one simple added step is what people miss at times. And get taken advantage of. And that's how so many banks are set up, is to play on your consumer habits of just responding to lower is better. It's one of the things I'm constantly battling against, dude, is that misconception and, like, trying to provide the education. It takes so much more effort to educate clients than to just throw up a little ad and hope they click on it. I have to take the time to teach you something to see why our deal's better or why you were getting taken advantage of. But I get more satisfaction from doing that. I get the relationship because I did take the time to do that and you valued it.
I find that, like, I used to have a huge problem with people that, like, I personally deemed were performing under me. Like, other contractors that were just, like, they weren't all shady, but just, like, maybe they weren't just doing the best job they could.
Didn't put out as good of a product.
Yeah, and
what, they were killing it or something? And you're like...
No, and then I realized, I was like, wait a minute, like, it's kind of a gift to have those people in business against you, because like if they didn't exist, like, what would our business look like? Like, we can't strive to be like a top tier quality company if, like, that inferior quality doesn't exist.
Polarity. Yep.
So like I used to have such, and then I realized I was like, one day I'm like, dude, I'm kind of grateful, and I've started like taking this into like all areas of my life. Like if someone's challenging to deal with, it's like kind of a gift to like have that person challenging you, even if you're not enjoying it. Maybe if they're being an asshole.
The client, you're saying.
It could be anyone in your life. It could be client, business partner, your parents, you know, your wife, maybe, like anybody that's like just in your way as an obstacle. If you can figure out a way around that obstacle, you're better off for it.
Yeah.
So I've gotten into the habit of like, rather than like resenting that person my entire life.
Yeah.
For no reason other than that, like one time they cut me out in traffic. It's like, well, you taught me how to pay attention to brake at the right time. Like,
absolutely.
It's like you have to look at it that way. So like, I definitely, I guess like the only victim in that situation is the customer.
Yeah.
Whereas like you kind of have to be grateful for, like, as much as those people suck.
Yeah.
If they didn't exist, you wouldn't be able to like. Yeah. Shine as hard. Like you probably wouldn't make as much money if they didn't exist.
100%. That's what creates the opportunity.
It took me forever to get to that. I'm like I still struggle with it, but it took me forever to get to that like mindset where it's just like, oh, that partnership that didn't work out, like, oh, fuck them. But it's like it's more like, actually, I wouldn't be in this position if they didn't act up.
Absolutely.
Like, so it's kind of like you don't appreciate them, but you kind of should.
No, it's yin and yang and the polarity. Like if everybody was a luxury builder, you wouldn't be a luxury builder.
It's both sides of the gable.
It's both sides of the gable grip.
It's like yin and yang. Yin and yang is gable grip.
That's true.
Is it?
We're basically Hindu.
It's
That's what I said. You heard it here first.
The more like real estate in general, I've said this before, to me is like one of those unique things where you can get a high power realtor, you can get a great lender, and it's not going to cost you extra money. There's so many services or products where naturally you need to pay more for that added service. Like if I need to hire a high power attorney, I'm going to be paying $1,000 an hour, whatever the hell it is. Real estate's like a rare thing where like if you're going to be paying as a seller a 5 to 6% commission to the realtors, you know, why would you not get the best one? They're going to get paid
the perfect example is that I talked to Francis yesterday on the phone. He called me, like I sent him a picture of like a fake account that was like acting like him.
Oh God.
He immediately calls me and we don't even talk about the account. He's just asking, how are you guys doing and everything like that. And he was telling me how he just closed a big deal. It was like a $1.5 million like sale, but it was from an expired listing contract. So another realtor had the listing probably, and they didn't get it done. So the contract expired, and Francis was like, I got it done in 1 week.
That's fire.
So like literally that's like who knows how long, I don't know how long the house was on the market. But like somebody's house was on the market long enough for the contract to expire, months, and then you give it to someone else and they get it done in a week.
Damn.
So like that's the difference between like when you're hiring a realtor or like someone more like it matters like what they're like, who they are and what they are doing.
Dude, do you know the level of satisfaction? Those are some of my favorite deals to get. Somebody's been messing around for months to get something closed with a terrible bank that's not nimble, not creative, just whatever. For whatever reason, can't get it closed in weekend. I've multiple times closed that deal in 2 weeks or less. I get excited when I get the phone call when we're beginning because I know the opportunity for the impact. I'm like, this is going to be fucking sick. Like, you're gonna be blown away. And I'm going to be stoked at how happy you are about it. Picture, like, spending 3 months of getting tortured. Why that's so horrible is not financially. Not only are, like, whatever, let's say the rate's expiring or rates are continuing to go up and they were supposed to close 3 months ago. Like, aside from all that, they lose all faith and all trust in the process. They no longer believe they're even going to close. Like, when you tell them, like, if I say to them, you know, how's 2 Fridays? You know, today's a Thursday. How's 2 Fridays away sound for closing? You know, like 2 weeks out. They just won't even believe it. And I would do the same thing. I'd be like,
because like
respectfully, I can't believe that.
You went so hard.
I can't allow myself to believe that and be disappointed.
You went so hard the other way.
So hard the other way.
That like they also think you're an asshole.
Dude,
it's like
they absolutely.
Do you have to balance that at all?
No, people will tell me I don't think you can, and I'll say I've done that multiple times. Like I can give you a review right here of people that have spoken about this happening. But I also tell them, right, if they give that doubt, listen, you were referred to me by your attorney. I know the realtor on the one side of the deal. I would like to know the realtor on the other side of the deal. There are multiple people at work here, and I care about my reputation. Like, your attorney brought me in here 2 or 3 months later. There's just as much riding on this for the attorney as there is for me. You don't know me, but, like, your attorney cares about how this goes, too. And I tell them, I work strictly off referral. My reputation's everything. So if I tell you we're going to close in 2 weeks and I can't, and I'm full of shit, like, it's going to look horrible for that attorney. That attorney is going to be hesitant to use me moving forward. You might leave me a bad review after. I have a lot of it at stake here besides just winning your deal. You know, if I tell you it, I have to close that.
Yeah, it's like kind of like, like if I do the deal, I get paid from this. But like, I also get paid forever from this. But if I don't get this done, I lose all of that.
Yeah, it hurts my reputation.
It's a great way to like. I think it would be cool to do business like that in every aspect of business.
Sure.
Like, what if Gilmore made shirts and like his shirts like weren't up to par?
I think that's how a lot of businesses work, though.
Yeah.
Because everything has a review online now.
But Gilmore shirts are most definitely up to par.
Fire
shirts.
If we ever get one to try on.
I seriously, he's teasing us for months.
I'm going to reserve my compliments till I'm able to put my hands on the goods.
Yeah.
I have like 2 shirts and a sweater. That's all I have.
Dude, all I know is we saw
some
pretty dude getting tattooed with one of the shirts on.
That's a different shirt.
That's a different
My boy Jerry. That's a different shirt.
Oh, it's his.
So it's more than one. We've established there's more than one.
Dude,
that's something else.
Let
We've
the
also
record
established
show.
You're a liar.
Let the record show there are multiple shirts on the market right now.
After you said there's one. So now that you're a liar, anything that comes out next, I can't.
2 homies are sitting in here right now, shirtless. Look at this tight. Look at this tight shirt I have on.
Gilmore,
this isn't fashionable right now. This isn't the style right now.
I threw all of my hoodies out. I've been freezing cold. It's hoodie season. I had to buy another hoodie.
Tyler came
without a hoodie
with no shirt on underneath his hoodie because he hoped to get a shirt to wear home.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'm not going to wear a shirt because then I'll have 2 shirts and I'll have to hold one of them, so I'll just go shirtless. Gilmore will hook me up with a shirt.
It's so cold under this hoodie. My nips are rocked up, bro.
Bro, it's coming.
Because they don't have a shirt.
He's chafing. He's going to cut a hole in his fancy sweatshirt.
Yeah. Bro, I'll get you a shirt. Fine.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Like that hat, too, that Audex has.
Yeah, give him his hat.
Yeah, like it.
This is my hat. What do you mean his hat?
Give me your lunch money.
Yeah, like how I did that. Give him his hat.
Give him his hat. Oh, fuck, that's my hat. What you mean?
I already own it and you don't even know.
Yeah, dude. He spoke it into existence. It's his now. What if Gilmore just took his hat off and gave it to you?
God damn it.
That wouldn't be funny.
I'll trade you my right croc for that hat.
I don't want that shit.
I hope your Crocs are like not on camera because they're gonna hurt you.
They're on camera.
I made sure they were on camera before we started. That's why the leg is up.
You came in here looking like an Antifa prep cook.
Stupid.
Yo.
Oh shit.
I've been relatively low key with the insults this episode, but I had to let one rip.
Oh, yeah, bro. Where were they earlier? Dude?
That was a good one.
Yeah, dude, you just fucking Swiss cheese shoes, let the water come in. There's nothing good about those shoes. They literally just let all the air in. Somebody told me a story yesterday.
Once you go for them, you can't go back. It's a problem.
Was I with you yesterday? Did you hear the story about the Crocs shrinking? Was that a jiu-jitsu story? Or was that
somebody mentioned it.
Somebody was talking about how they left their Crocs in the car and they shrunk from like that size down to like a baby shoe.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
amazing.
Did you know that can happen?
Yeah, that's what happens when because they're fucking made of, what is that, like some kind of fucking rubber or foam or some shit?
If they bake in the sun, I bet that happens.
Yeah, they're going to shrink. Put them in the oven.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that.
If they
actually do that.
Huh?
How come you don't have any of those like cartoon characters in your holes of your shoes?
The jibs.
It's just
what are they called?
Jibs.
I thought you said something else too.
Yeah.
What do you think I said?
Did something dangerous.
Oh, okay.
We don't like that.
So jibs,
no.
like the sail of a boat, like a jib. Like
I got no jibbies.
Pretty sure I think it's called a jib. See, Croc.
If
jibs.
my kids got me some, I'd rock them, but I'm not gonna get out of my way.
I'll talk to my guy Grayson about this.
Yeah.
Heels.
Yeah, look at that Croc.
625, dude. Take yourself
Croc
behind
heel.
the woodshed.
Are they not jibs? I thought they were called jibs.
Charms.
Charms, fine.
It says
Maybe
right there,
jibs,
staple jibs.
Maybe jibs is Spanish. Look at this dude has croc balls.
Where?
On the right.
Oh, amazing, dude.
Yeah, look at those bad boys.
That's crazy.
You can put testicles on the back of your shoes to represent how stacked you are.
You get
That's
the black
gross.
ones.
That's so gross.
Bro,
that's pathetic.
Amazing.
Oh my god!
Or
Could you imagine in like the grocery store, like walking around, like seeing like a middle-aged man wear Crocs with like a set of fake nuts?
You
on
could
it?
only
so
wear those
pathetic.
once.
They have the full color spectrum. You get whatever color you want.
But I would like to wear them once. No more than that.
I would just say they're cherries.
They got wrinkles, bro.
No, there's a stem right there.
Highly detailed.
That's the stem, bro.
Oh
Cherry
my
stem,
god! Dude. You know what?
Your ball bag's got a stem too, bro.
You know what happened here? Somebody got a laser printer for Christmas, and they're like, how can I branch out into printing laser things and selling them on eBay? I'll make nuts for Crocs.
Bro, $7 each, 45 sold. He's made some money.
Oh my god!
It's not that much.
It's not that much money, but he's made some money.
But it's passive income. He's probably got a day job. He probably drives trucks.
He's a dropshipper.
He probably drives school buses.
Bro, is this an untapped market right now? Nah,
I do want a 3D printer. Could we make whatever?
I did have a client once that was making buttons and merch during the election for both sides of the election. I mean, how many people did that? That's just so smart.
That's crazy.
Selling both sides.
We'll talk about this after the podcast. We'll buy a 3D printer on Daddy's credit card. And we'll just play both sides.
3D printer.
You know what we'll do? We even go third side. We'll do independent.
Bro, make keychains.
Bro.
Just Fetterman faces, like.
Yeah, Dr.
Anyway.
Oz or some shit.
Speaking of politics, the rates. Or is mortgages slowing down because of the rates, or are people still buying?
Yeah. Oh yeah, baby.
Yeah, is your jiu-jitsu time just subsequently? Yeah, just like.
Well, dude, I knew this was coming. First off, I've gone through this cycle a few times, so I knew this was gonna be a rough year. I didn't realize rates would go up that high that quickly.
They're going up another quarter, I heard.
Well,
we don't know.
Yeah, that thing doesn't always correlate with the way mortgage rates move. Obviously, an indicator they're gonna go up, but I knew the volume would be down so much that I was determined to make it work on myself and maintain a positive mindset through other shit. And I've been feeling so stoked lately with the jiu-jitsu and how things are going that, like, I wanted to make this one of my, like, best years, you know, personally, where even it was a disastrous year for business or something, that I could look back and be, like, super stoked on how it went. That's how I feel right now. So I just need to stay on the path.
Yeah.
I think originations in general are down like 60%, probably fucking more now compared to last year.
Okay.
As far as just loan volume,
but
we're definitely living that.
Have we come that 60% decline? Has that brought us down to more of like a steady state level, where like that's where we kind of should be at, or because there was such a surplus of people transacting?
Well, this is just me talking, just my opinion on it. Like, I feel like this shit moves in a pendulum, where the pendulum was so far one way with rates in the twos and held there for so long.
It was there for forever.
Just picture it, right? They let it go. It goes so far the other way. I think it'll settle somewhere in the middle. But, like, the reason they've gone up so violently high is because of how low they were and how long it was kept that way. All tied into how rampant inflation became, how much money they printed. You could read all that shit. You could Google all about that. But where you see the most pain from that, here's a fucking classic example. I had a client, bought his house June 2021, wanted to refi because he knows his house is worth more now. That's one benefit if you got houses in the last few years, like values were just shooting up, right? He wanted to refi, take cash out. He closed on his house. The rate was 3.25% when he closed on his house. Right now, that'd be a sick rate, right? His loan amount was like $360, I want to say, maybe $340 or something. I told him, if you took a rate now at 7.25, his payment was exactly $1,000 more a month.
Damn.
So what was the original? And
the original loan amount was like $360, right?
But, so it was $1,000 more.
$1,000 more on a loan that size.
And if you're buying a $360,000 house, like that $1,000 is significant.
Bro, absolutely. And like, and the effect is more dramatic on a loan towards $1 million. Now that $1,000 is just like whatever, 3 times that. The impact it's had on what's really happening is it impacts people's purchasing power, right? When rates go up like that, that same house you liked a year ago is now fucking $500 to $1,000 more a month. The issue is, like, the ways you can combat that are not easy. Like, what are we going to do? We're going to put down more cash to try to lower our payment? Well, like,
or people are going to rent.
Every $10,000 additional you put down changes your payment by like $55 a month. Like, that's it. your payment's $1,000 higher now. You want to put down another 10, it only saves you $55 a month. Like, because it's over a 30-year term, throwing money at the loan does not have the impact you think it would because it's spread out over such a long period. So where I see the most pain is people that are first-time buyers trying to get into a market. They try to adjust their purchase price to accommodate for the higher rates, creating higher payments. You can't simply just find a cheaper house. Certain markets, go to any market. What's like the lowest price house you're going to find? Let's say it's in the 300s. You're not going to just drop to 200. You're not going to go into Hopewell, New Jersey, and you were looking at something around 400, and now you're trying to find something for 250. It's just not there. Mm-hmm. So like people just fall out of the market. That's where you have the renting situation, but that's where it feels the worst when you're talking to those people, and it's like, dude, fuck.
We actively chose to rent.
Yeah,
because like I was like, we'll dump our house, we'll sell the house.
Yeah.
You
caught that side of it.
Dude, yep. We caught the upside of that, dude. Side of it. Set a record for that neighborhood.
Absolutely.
I'm not even kidding.
I believe
I'm not even kidding, dude. In the Facebook group for my old neighborhood, like our realtor like posted that he got the deal done and like for how much. And he's like, hit me up if you want to do something.
Yeah, he was bragging
first,
with that shit.
First comment was, that's ridiculous. Yeah. I was like, sucker.
I know he's like, no, you're doing something right. Yeah.
Sucker.
That's crazy.
So then like when I started looking at houses and we were talking to Tyler, I was like, I couldn't bring myself to buy something. I rode the top of the market with the sale.
Yeah.
But if I bought something at the top of the market, now I'm trapped into that house. Mm-hmm. And if you're planning on moving again in the next 5 years, you're stupid for buying it, essentially. Correct me if I'm wrong. Because it would cost. Yeah, so like I would potentially buy a house at the top. Yeah. The market corrects. My house is then worth a more reasonable price than what I paid for it. Now I'm like out money, which would be more money than if I rented the place I'm renting now for a year.
Right. Damn.
So it's like the place I'm renting for a year now is like, it's between $36,000 and $40,000 for the whole year. Mm-hmm. So like if I bought a house for $700,000 and the market corrected and that house is now worth $500,000, I just lost $200,000.
Yeah.
So right now I'm only losing $40,000 in rent, whereas like before I would have lost. I'm fairly confident that's what's going to happen. Yeah. Like it's what like I mean.
Well,
I would be I would feel foolish for like I went to school for economics. Mm-hmm. I'd be lying to myself if I didn't know what's going to happen, and I'd feel like an idiot later on if I ignored what's going to happen purely to get what I want right now.
Yeah. Right.
Totally
makes sense.
And that's kind of was like, oh man, I really want to do this. But I'm like, but I know what's going to happen. Let's wait for, when this works itself out.
You're starting to see a flip where houses are sitting for longer. If you get Zillow updates, for example, on houses, like I still get updates for like New Hope where I was looking. I still get you'll see the price reduction alerts. Like, you start to pick up on these cues. I think it has not even fully tilted into the switch from a seller's market to a buyer's market, meaning buyers are having more and more leverage because there's less buyers out there.
When do you think it'll happen?
I think I'm not going to put a number on. I'd be a fool to say like how many months, but I think I will say I think there's more room for that. Like I think that's only going to worsen. Like buyers are only going to get more power. It's only going to become harder for the seller to sell. At least right now, that's the progression we're in because rates still are going up. So people are, again, their purchasing power is throttled, so they cannot afford to get in the bidding war like they were before. What I tell people is to try to focus on getting a good deal now. Rates are going to suck no matter what we do. If I give you an ARM, which just is, it's a
adjustable rate mortgage. I wanted to get into that.
Try to put it simply, but like you'll have the rate will be fixed for a certain number of years, much lower than if you were just to get a straight 30-year loan, to try to save some money until you're plotting on a refi. But no matter what we do, I'm saying like go from 7% to 6%, it still sucks compared to where rates just were. Like rates are just going to suck. Focus more on trying to get the house at a good deal. Try to get like your closing costs covered, things that are going to help you right now. If you get $10,000 at closing, that helps you right now. Mm-hmm. And you can refi whenever. There's no prepayment penalty on pretty much any loan you're going to get. So if the market drops out in 6 months, you can refi. But if you pay through the nose now, that cash you put in, not so easy to get out. The closing costs you pay, that's spent. And regardless of market conditions, real estate always is cyclical in the way that in the fall and the winter, things always slow down in the market, but I always say there's great opportunities in the fall and the winter because people selling this time of year generally only doing so if they have to, because otherwise you'd wait to the spring because the spring's a big time for real estate. Everyone listens to the spring. And so if you're a buyer, you can find a seller that's motivated. They might be more likely to take your offer. For example, they moved out of state or they got to move for work. Like, they need to sell. They wouldn't be selling their house around Christmas if they fucking didn't have to. Mm-hmm. So I bought 2 houses that way. I bought my first one right around Thanksgiving, and I got the leverage I was looking for, a completely different market time. But clients I'm talking to, now and today, that's what I'm saying. I was like, dude, we're heading into the winter. Like, you don't need to move right now. You're renting, you're living at home or whatever, but you're keeping your feelers out there. Like, I'm like, dude, you're just going to get more and more leverage as time goes on right now. Like, you see houses pop up in December and January, man. Like, you're the only buyer on the street. Rates get even worse. You're even more powerful as the buyer because there's even less competition out there. So I think it's a good time to buy from that perspective. But I think it could get even better. And I'm wondering how investors are going to take advantage of that when houses are going to come at such a discount, because you have that drop in price on one side. You have the exchange of the rate on the other where you have the higher rate. So I would assume people that could buy in cash, great fucking time. Who cares about the 8% rate when you got the cash? Obviously, that's a rarity. But even people that maybe can get like this is institutional investors, but like people using like interest only or whatever, products like that where they're just going to carry the payment. They don't give a shit about the rate because they're just paying interest for a few months. They're plotting on the refi. There's more risk to that kind of model, but I think you're going to see people like that snap stuff up. But
that's what I kind of like. I was like going to get ready to talk to you about like how to get how personally to get flexible with like the money that I got from selling.
Yeah.
I was like, if I stay renting, would it be wise to buy a rental property instead of buying like a personal home just to like not have that?
The problem is with people that I see just buying like a standalone rental, the rates are such shit that they are eating into your monthly cash flow that would potentially be there from that.
Even
rental.
If you raise rental rates.
Well, that's the thing. I don't monitor that market that well, but I'm wondering how that'll play out as far as rents going up, and people being more attracted to investment opportunities, because if you can catch that wave where maybe you get slightly higher rent on something, you get the property now, but you can refi in the future, and now you create the gap when you refi. That's a great one, but I guess the anxious part of that is like how long are you going to take to refi? Like, I had somebody looking at an investment property, they're kind of going to just want to break even on it every month. Like, they're not cash flowing on it. But it's like, if you can get at least a good price on it, maybe just sit on it and try to refi later.
Like, ride the break even for a year and then refi so that like you're
just coasting. Like, I have a property that does that right now. It was meant to be temporary while I was working on my move to New Hope. Like, my whole goal the whole time was I just want to break even on it. It's a little different because I bought it as a primary because I lived there for a year. Mm-hmm. So I only put down 5%. It was a $500,000 house. But in my head, I was like, if I can pick up a $500,000 asset for $25,000 and then I just break even on it every month, over 20 years, I'm going to own more and more of that $500,000 asset. If I could sell this thing in 20 years and fucking cash out $200K, and I only put in 25 in the beginning, that was my thinking. I wasn't trying to make money on it. I was like, even if I had to pay, even if I have to pay $100, I'll pay $100 a month to own a $500,000 house. That was my thinking there. So maybe people can adopt more of that mindset, just pick it up, try to coast it. But if you're like a normal home buyer right now,
but you have to have income in order to do that, because I was
for my example, I have the tenant covering it.
Yeah,
is that what you mean? Like operating in? Yeah, for sure. That was the
or you also have to have the income or money saved up in case like the tenant
for sure
fails
for sure
to pay.
Not enough people think about that, dude.
Or like, because that's what I started examining when I was like getting ready to if I was going to rent our last place. I was thinking about, I'm like, all right, like I could totally cover like me having to pay this mortgage also wouldn't really be a factor.
Right.
But like that would annoy the shit out of me if like I rented this place out and it just like cost me money.
People, I've had real story, no names. I had a client,
Kevin,
fucking Bridget. I had somebody look at a house. They made whatever it was. Let's just say it was $40,000 a year. They were looking at a multi-unit house that they were gonna live in one unit. They're gonna rent out 3 units, whatever it was. Right. It was a heavy cash flowing property, but it was really old. even just looking at the pictures, you're like, dude, this is like there's 4 fucking units here.
Asbestos
like,
tiles.
There's just a lot of shit that could be wrong here. They can make it work on paper. I actually fired myself from the deal. I told them, I swear to God, this is one of less than 5 times I've done this in my career. I told them I'm not going to do something. I'm not going to be a part of you doing something I think is a financial detriment to you. Like, I'm not looking to make money on this, obviously, but like, I really don't think you should do it. I think the reels are pushing you to do it, is not giving you sound advice.
Because the realtor's incentivized to get the deal done.
Of course.
Because they make money off you doing the deal.
And listen, man, when you asked about burned bridges, that was one of them. That was the end of that relationship with the realtor, because I mean, I even had that conversation. It was like, how are we doing this? This person's never owned a house before. The reason I brought this example up is, like, they were making around $40,000 a year. The payment on this place was like, $3,600, $4,000 a month.
Damn.
And it cash flowed great. It worked on paper, but I'm like, dude, if you can't cover rent for 1 month, let alone the roof goes on the 4-unit property or like the heating unit or something, like, what is the plan, dude? Mm-hmm. And there wasn't one. Like, they were so caught up in the idea and the dream of this awesome cash flowing property. I'm making $2,000 a month. Sounds great, but like, it's thinking that way is not going to get you in trouble. It's overlooking the other shit that's going to get you in trouble, man. And like, your whole ship's going to sink if you can't afford that $10,000 to $30,000 repair. You're losing this place. I had asked, and they didn't get an answer. What's the plan? What's the plan if there's another fucking COVID and people decide they're not going to pay your rent because they think they're going to get government protection or something, and you're not getting that protection? What's the plan? There was no answer. It's like, I'm not trying to be a buzzkill, man. I don't want to see you do something. I don't want to go to bed knowing I helped you get into that position in a year. You're fucking kicking yourself.
Yeah, you didn't hang them, but you built the rope. Yeah. That's tough. I've always rental
tough.
Being a landlord mogul is like something I strive for.
Yeah.
But it's such a long game.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people I talk to think like, oh, flipping houses is another one. Like, I've been a part of a few flips. Mm-hmm. Luckily for me, all the times that like my money was involved, we were successful.
Got it out, yeah.
But I've seen so many, anytime those opportunities now, like I cringe a little bit. I'm like, oh.
Dude, all it takes is
like,
one bad one.
It doesn't like, and you talk to people that like, they're not in construction, or they're like, oh yeah, dude, I'm thinking about getting into flipping houses because like that's where the money's at. I'm always like,
yeah, I have no idea. No idea.
Or they'll see us, like, we don't do it too much anymore. We don't have any open ones now. But like, say they see us do something like that. What they don't realize is like, we've got, I don't even know how many decades of experience between everybody that works here.
Of course.
We have the company, the infrastructure, all the people in place, the subs in place, the relationships with the subs to get it done. We have experience with like the budgets and everything. Like, whereas like you'll see people that'll be like, yeah, I'm thinking about quitting my job and flipping this house and making, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, I respect those people tremendously for taking a risk and living out their like goals or passions. But I'm always like, dude, you don't see. So like, when I see like, going back to our original point, like when I see someone like you being successful, I'm like, should I do mortgages? Or should I get into this? Mm-hmm. It's like, those questions need to, like, there needs to be like, what's he doing, or what's he know, or what's his experience that's led him to this, and how, like, the question should be, how do I get all that experience in a short amount of time?
Yeah, I mean, to answer that directly too, and take it kind of literally, like,
he tries to offer us jobs right now.
So it's funny you say that. I have a offer letter in my back.
I need some underwriters.
He's got it taped to his chest with no shirt on. He just lifts it up. It's an offer letter.
Will you sign with me?
I just like sign his chest like I'm going to prom with him.
Yeah, exactly.
Pictures.
I live this experience where I attribute like all of my success to having an amazing mentor. My mentor was the number one guy in the company when I joined. I heard him say that. I had heard people tell me that. Just for like a little background, my mom's a realtor, so she told me of a lender that was looking for a summer intern. I met him on a Saturday. I was working a really terrible job at the time, and I spoke with him for like 3 hours on a Saturday. And I was just trying to soak. I didn't fucking know what a mortgage was at the very basic fundamental level of like it's the equivalent of getting an auto loan for a car. Like I didn't even think about it that simply. I was like, what the fuck is a mortgage? Dude? Like $100,000 loan, shit's big as hell. You know?
Yeah, Tyler was like looking at mortgages the way my dad looks at Bitcoin.
Yeah, probably worse.
He's like, it sounds legit. I don't understand it. I'm not doing it.
But I had heard him say what people made there. You know, at the time he was like, people in this office make between 50 grand and 500 grand. And I was like, yep, 500 grand. How do we get there? I'm down. Let's figure out the way. So I was totally pulled in by the money. But, again, what I said earlier, like that's not what kept me on it. But his mentorship was, like we said earlier, was all about value, driving value to our partners, not trying to juice people. So I learned from that when I meet people either trying to get into this industry or another one. That's how I lived it. Like if I hear someone that wants to be a realtor, for example, it's like, who can you link up with and learn from? Like I learned so much in that time, dude. I soaked up so much in that first year. It's what I like our relationship because I will always say like that is what allowed me to be successful. That is what everything goes back to. And he'll say it's because I work so hard and I put in all the work. And truly that's how it should be. It was the pairing of those two things. Like I had his tutelage, so to speak. Like I had his fucking knowledge to learn, and I earned that through how I showed up. I mirrored his hours. I would go in when he went in. I wouldn't leave until he left every single day. True story. Like I told my friends we had a thing where we'd hang out every Friday. I told them like I'm going to start missing these because if he's not gone Friday by 6, I'm not gone either. Like we'd gone to company parties, me and this guy, and like he wants to go back to the office after to do something. I'm like, I'm right there with you. I'm coming with you then. I'm not going home after. Like the only way I knew how to show that I was worthy of the opportunity was through my time and my investment, because I can control the time I'm giving you. I don't know everything yet, but like I will be here. And even if that means I'm sitting there doing nothing at times, you know my intent because I'm fucking right here. I'm not doing any work right now, but I'm not doing anything else but being here for you. I did that for a full year, and I learned so much in that year. I earned the opportunities he gave me through that loyalty, which is still here today. Never left his side, never will, which goes beyond money because he completely transformed my life. Like everything I can attribute back to him giving me that fucking opportunity. Kills me that people are not loyal the same way. Whatever, I respect, people's different outlooks on that. But some of the people we were competing with at the time were people that he taught that left. And I was like, I'm never going to do that to you. I'm going to be the guy that fucking stays here and we're going to fucking crush it, So I live by that. But that it's insane to me. There's some I've seen like on Reddit and whatnot, people say like, if the company's not paying you for more than 8 hours a day, don't work a single minute more. And again, I'll respect that if you just want to have that.
If that's you want to be
you want to be in it, but dude, you want to grow outside it. You need to fucking work outside that. So I did everything I could to try to be worthy of that opportunity, and he handed me the keys, so to speak. Like, gave me all the knowledge, gave me relationships, gave me the know-how that he did not have to give me. And it was up to me to then run with it, and thankfully it worked out. Because I think about that sometimes. I would bet people think that I was handed like a book of business and just ran with it.
Your parents are definitely rich.
Yeah. There you go. Trust fund, baby.
He doesn't even sign mortgages. He just like gives people money.
Yeah, I give him my money. All right, bro. Pay me back in 5 years. Right?
It's the Bank of Tyler, 30-year notes.
What was I saying about that?
Sorry, I totally messed you.
No.
You don't think you're handed a book?
Oh, yeah. I was thinking about this the other day where, like, I've seen this. People want to hand the business off to somebody else that's not them. The relationship was created with someone because of their connection to you. It's not always easy to give the handoff. So in our relationship, he had created opportunities for me to meet people that were either a junior of someone else he works with or something. But it's all me to form that relationship and earn that trust. Because if they come in and I suck, they're just never going to use me. So in the beginning, he gave me enough business opportunity. Here's how it worked. First year of sales, I think 2016, I did like 17 million in loan volume, and 3 million of that was my own generated business. The other 14 was his, right? The very next year, I did 18, and it completely flipped, where 3 million was him and the rest was me. So right there, that 2 years gave me the confidence to know, because I was super scared that I wouldn't be able to grow or do this shit. Like, we're not even going to talk about the ups and downs mentally of like the confidence, you know, not being there and all that shit. But that was the first indicator. When I looked at this number, I was like, shit, dude, I just did a complete flip. Like, I can do this on my own. You know, a lot of the foundation he gave me was in the beginning. I have some of those relationships now. But what it gave me was the experience to be hands-on writing these loans. You only are going to fucking learn it like anything else by going through it. So he gave me all these opportunities, shit loans, great loans. Just give me volume to let me learn hands-on, let me run point. I'll never forget, like, the first sales call. Had to, like, amp myself up for 30 minutes before I could even fucking call the person to, like, take down their information. I was so nervous. Like, who am I, 23-year-old, doesn't own a house, asking you how much money you make, how much cash you got, let me pull your credit. I was like, how the fuck am I going to make that call? So, you know, in the beginning, like, taking that morph over time. Yeah, dude. I like to say that shit, bro.
They're like, oh, what kind of mortgage do you have? And he goes,
Mom and Dad's.
Yeah, I don't have. Yeah,
I see my mom gets Bank of America.
Me and my roommates.
Yeah, I like to mention that shit because I wasn't a natural. I don't think I was a natural at it. I was, if anything, way more nervous to make the call than your average person. I just overcame it through that work. But yeah, he gave me that foundation that I could build off of, and it gave me the experience, but also the credence to, like, if I meet a realtor, I can refer back to I did 18 million in volume. Like, I did something, you know. So he gave me that foundation. It's like I never wrote a loan. I did. We just did 100 in 2 years, 100 units, you know, whatever it was. So amazing mentor. I don't know what it takes to give somebody relationships and referrals, real money-making opportunities, and you don't know if they're going to stick with you. I think that's so insane, and that thought, again, is what drives me to be loyal to this guy. I'm like, I have financial, you know, advisors. There's offices I work with that, you know, the first introduction was made by him, and he could have kept that for himself, and I grew it into something great. I know all the guys there, whatever, but he could have made that first call. He could have kept that one person. I think it's insane, dude. That takes some balls to give those.
Are you mentoring anyone?
So no. Not in sales. I do have my operations team. I wrestle with whether or not I have what it takes to be. I think I have to accept that if I were to do that, it would have to be a different way. I would try to mirror as much as possible how my mentor did it, but he has characteristics I have to accept I don't have. That's something I think about. I don't even know if I have it right, but I even think about anytime I had a question, I could go in this guy's office. No matter what was happening, a loan could be fucking imploding. He would take the time to talk to me and stop what he was doing and answer my question. He would never be like, no, I'm too busy. Like, come back later, which is fucking what I want to do to people. Like, it's the most impressive thing to me. The guys, how calm he was under pressure, immediate, compartmentalize that, boom, segment to me. He's here with me now. It doesn't matter what's happening here. Let me give you the 10 minutes. Yeah. I am fucking capable of doing that. So I wrestle with this shit of if I even want to try to mentor someone or if I could even do a good job. You know, I think about that shit because
you could mentor me on style. He's got fashion.
Target $39.99.
Look at that shit right
however
there.
much fucking Crocs. So I think they're more expensive than that. But
no, I think $40.
Yeah, dude. It's but I will tell you, I encourage people to. I won a sales award that first year of sales, and that's what I said in it. I thanked him, and I encouraged the other managers in the room because I was just the fucking little young buck. I had told people in the room, you know, if you're in a position to mentor someone, please do so because you'll never know how, like, you'll change their life. Like this guy changed mine. You know, that was my whole speech was about.
Don't cry, dude.
Love you, Kev. So if I were entering any business, that's what I'm looking for is somebody like that, somebody worth your time. Somebody who's not just going to run you to the ground without giving you opportunities. But I don't know how I would have gotten into this any other way than by shadowing someone who was amazing. And to this day, so I'm the number one sales guy in the office, right? I'm doing probably twice what he did that year that he brought me in. Let those fucking shots ring, baby. And
he's like the Arab weddings, just shooting guns into the air. No real
gold AK.
The thing that makes me happy about it is not to say the numbers and all that. For me, that's the return on his investment. I am happy to make that fucker money. I'm like, you gave me money. When I bought my first house, he gave me a 10 grand bonus. He didn't have to give me that. I didn't ask for it. He knew what was going on. He helped me along. Never forget shit like that. There's lessons there, right? You fucking treat people right. I'll never forget that shit. And to this day, again, for me, I wouldn't leave the situation over money. If somebody couldn't pay me a sign-on bonus first off, how much fucking money you need? You know, about talking about how much money I make. Like, how much fucking money do you need to begin with? I'm fucking cool. But it's like, I want to make this fucker money, dude. I'm like, this is what you spent your time with. This is why you gave me those relationships years ago, dude. It's for what we're doing right now, bro. I'm so happy to fucking make you this money, dog. And to answer, bring this bitch full circle, your question earlier about if I always work that hard, you know, the goal here is for him to maybe phase out at some point. I hope he never does, because I still call him to this day. But ideally, in this business, you want somebody that can work under and do what I'm doing, making you money while you don't have to put as much time in. He can hand his deals off and shit, and he makes money on them still, right? Because he's the branch manager, so he's getting paid on just the branch revenue. He's in a position where he can give things to people in the office or make money on the guys that work there. So long term, maybe that's what I would want to be into, is have people that we bring up, either through me or I'm big on. I got a guy, Tom, that works with me. Tom Jinks, shout outs. Teach
shout out.
Used to be a math teacher and used to be a bartender, so I was like, you're gonna fucking kill it at mortgages, dog. You fucking people person, and you know the numbers. He's an amazing teacher. So one of my favorite things to do when we're bringing people in is to fucking have them learn from him, have them learn from Kevin. I'm big on just delegating to the people that know. Like, they're great at certain teaching aspects that I'm not. I'm like, just fucking shadow Tom on those numbers, shadow fucking Kevin on the scenario. You know, I'm not so prideful that I think I need to do everything or I have it all. So that's one way I would do it, bringing people up, is having the right people with me to learn, to help teach people different aspects of the business. I have good.
Do you see this right now?
I love it, dude.
Do you see?
I love it so much.
What is he doing? What is going on? He's just Godzilla, dude.
I just love the face he always has. Such a golden boy.
He's a good dude.
But yeah.
No, that's like really profound.
We'll see where it goes.
That's really like.
We'll see where it goes.
I didn't have that maturity when I was younger to like seek out people that knew. I was very much on my own.
Here's one thing you'll relate to. That the last thing I want to mention about that. The only reason I was so motivated to put in so much time is because I just worked the worst job ever.
What was your job?
It was so mind-numbing that I won't spend a ton of time because it was pointless. I worked for a company that provided the search records for title companies when they're searching for, like, if you're buying a house and they have to run the results to see if you've owned any properties, you have any lawsuits. I was the guy running the search, which would literally require me to type in your name, print the fucking shit, and email it to somebody. My daughter could do it. Like, and I had just graduated from BU, right? My parents spent money on me going to that school so I could have the fucking opportunity to not, and fell flat on my face, like, did not live up to any expectation of what I was supposed to. So I was so depressed in that job that the moment I saw the opportunity for this shit, and you tell me that there's not a direct ceiling on this, we can go. If I do it, I was so.
You were ready.
But I talk about this all the time. It was only because I was so miserable. I fucking knew how bad it could get, man. I had just worked that for a year. My buddy Tom Jinks had just talked about, did not like being a teacher, was so amped up to be doing this shit because he fucking could not stand that anymore. I think that adversity is what helps drive you forward. I think, right? I'm sure you could relate to the same thing. I don't know what you were doing before you got into what you're doing now, but like when you go through some shit and you're like, I don't want to be doing that ever again, dude. I don't want to feel that way ever again. We've hired people who are younger that have not had that moment yet. I think we provided that moment to them. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you probably fucking hated this job, dog. But hopefully the next one, you know what I mean? And I'll tell them that shit too. I'll be like, just so you know, I worked a job I fucking hated, bro. So there's no reason you can't bounce back from this or make it forward. But like the moment you start to identify how bad shit can get, how it feels to work a job that's mind-numbing and fucking depressing, the moment you get that opportunity to not feel that way, you just latch onto that bitch.
I see that in Ariel right now. Because she did nursing for so long, and then she was like a nanny. I mean, she killed it as a nanny.
Right.
But now she's like a health coach, so she's like kind of like appreciates how she's like helping people live a better life.
Yeah.
Whereas like as a nurse, she was just there to like take care of sick people.
Yeah, and you can kill it as a nurse, but if it's not speaking to that part of you that's keeping you there, it's not enough.
She's like, oh man, like I feel like I'm actually helping people.
Right.
And I'm like, damn.
That first job I talked about, within that year, I spent time trying to I was taking on responsibility just because I was so bored. I was like, dude, I can do more than this little search thing every day. I was trying to figure out the way to the top in there, and then I was like, I don't want to be a part of this at all. So like, you can excel what you want to fucking do in a certain job, but if it's not hitting on the other part, and for me, there was no personal fulfillment. The whole culture was so depressing, you know. Anyway, you can kill it at something, but if it's not, you know, you see that shit all the time. I have a buddy who's an amazing CPA. He just got out of the business because he hated it. He was the best fucking CPA I know, but it didn't give him that fucking passion. The goal
some
is
people get caught
some
people get caught up in doing something for so long that like they don't realize how much they hate it. That could be me.
That's probably a big part of my
realization.
That could be me.
Oh shit.
You know what I'm saying?
He turns all red.
He's I gotta go.
I'm definitely red. I'm red on the inside right now. I'm caught, dude.
Oh shit.
Where it's just kind of like you reach that, like some people never get that opportunity to realize, like if you realize how much you hated your last job, that means you really you hopefully like your current one.
Yeah.
Which is like honestly like a great thing.
Man, I have a respect for people too that work that have it figured out, like work a job for 30 years, perfectly content with it, you know, manage their money.
Yeah, it goes back to those personality type things.
Exactly.
I have respect for more people dude, like my mom worked like the same job for fucking 40 years or some shit at Verizon.
How did she like it?
I honestly think she checked in and out, but it was like it was like
for some people that's still fine though, depending on what.
Yeah, but like
she
made up for it after.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
but like it was what, you know, put a house, like a roof over our head.
Absolutely.
Like it's like for people, like I don't have kids, so like I don't know what that's like to like be in a position where it's like I hate my fucking job, but I can't quit because like I've got the kid. Like those, bro. Like I feel for those folks.
100%. There's something to be said too about this is why I'm not a huge like everyone needs to be an entrepreneur. Everybody needs to fucking build your own. Yo, there's a fucking value to shutting off when you're out of work and you can enjoy your weekend not thinking for one fucking minute about your work. I've
never done that. I've never had a job like that.
I feel like I could never go to fucking Japan, something like that. I couldn't travel like that.
I mean, we can't go to Japan. We're tatted up. Dude.
You could set fucking gable gang.
It's true. Like if you go to Japan, not to derail you,
that's a thing.
But if you like say like my tattoos or your tattoos are out, there's like certain places that like won't let you in, like gyms or different like things that like you can't.
I wasn't coming anyway, motherfucker. But
yeah. So you were saying
you can set up your business, you know, whatever. You could set shit up where you can travel like that. But I am in a way. I am, again, it's just a blessing, the curse of it. I can't stop thinking about the shit, you know, on the weekends, at nights. I'm really good about compartmentalizing shit, but I can't take an extended leave of absence. You know, you can. Some of the OGs do when they set up their team right. You absolutely can. It's just, again, it takes work to set up that system. It takes the right people to set up that system to allow you to fucking go hands off. I see people go hands off. I'm like, damn, you must have a rock star fucking crew. Because if I go hands off, it's not shit ain't getting to the closing table. You know what I mean? Not completely. I got some killers, but
no, I know
that's
what
the goal though. Is to try to get just the right people. I'm so much more on quality over quantity too. Of the people that I have, I want just a few people that kill it. I would rather have a select few that I can reward and pay more rather than I need to pay 3 times that many people because everybody kind of like did half that work. I'm huge on like, and this is my outlook going forward, is just have the right people that I can reward in the journey and like let's max out, you know. And I think other like killers in this shit want to be the same way. They don't want to split their income with another person. They would rather do work for it and get all the fruits of that labor. So, you know, I'm looking for people like that. That's the squad I have. Shouts out to Devon and Jimmy.
Damn, shout out the boys.
Good, you timed that perfectly.
I'm getting into this bitch. So yeah,
dude, I think that's all the questions I got. You got any questions?
Nah, I mean, I know Tyler.
Yeah, we'll run it. We'll run it back.
Dude, don't act like we know Tyler.
We'll run it back. Yeah. We don't have to wait this long, but
we should do more regular podcasts.
We'll do more regular, but I also want to do a full circle after the jiu-jitsu's been apart for like the 18-month, like what I was talking about, the 18-month journey. Yeah. I want to make sure that's an episode, bro.
Oh, yeah,
I think Tyler's like a quarterly guest.
Let me do that, bro. Yeah.
Like
whenever you want. But I want there to be that anniversary check-in that I can refer back to this fucking shit and think back on it. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, that's fire.
That's got to be at least one that we do.
It's fucking legit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about like if we ever moved the podcast to like my house.
Yeah.
Doing something more like where we like have food or something like that, where like we can do it more of like a thing.
Like a hang
rather than like, so when we have guests or something, like me and Gilmore like have food ready for everybody and like we can like kind of just chill. Cause like there's people on the show that like the shows are good, but after you get to know them, you're like, damn, like what if we started the show now?
Yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah. That's why I feel.
Because like people come in sometimes and there's like the ice or like I feel like we get like a drink.
Spend half the time breaking ice. Yeah.
Get a little some Chipotle in you and maybe a cocktail. See what you say.
I was gonna say I was gonna have a little drink, but I did want to try to get better at this without being. I don't want to. I don't want to. No, I don't want to. I didn't want to ever. I want to do it maybe next time. I don't want to ever. I still. Before this is so uncomfortable on this thing that I didn't want to have to drink to be my crutch where like say it goes well and now I feel like I got to drink every time. So I wanted to make sure I didn't.
Yeah.
But I do want to do that.
Yeah.
I feel more comfortable.
Yeah, that'd be
What we should do is find someone who like really, really knows scotch or whiskey
and
then have them come in here.
Yes, please.
Do like a tasting.
That'd be sweet.
And then all Uber home.
That's an expensive Uber.
Responsible drinkers.
Dude, when I used to live down in the city and I was like a member at the Union League, I would go to like different like functions or stuff there, and then they would all like everybody be like, we're going to the cigar lounge. I'm like, all right, cool. And I would go in there and like the guy like people would just be buying like the bills that you would rack up in there would be insane. Oh, and you never saw it until the end of the month when your statement came in, which would suck. But like
I'm moving to Boston, bitch. Good luck finding me.
They're like, dude, there was times where like I would hang out there and I just like would hop in an Uber and go back to my house. And then like after a while, like I started realizing that a lot of those dudes drove home.
Oh, dude.
I'm like, I barely made it up the steps.
Oh, of course,
they'd be like, I'm good to go. I drove the vet.
Nah, man.
Like I'd be like, oh man, I gotta
stop doing that.
Yeah, I was like, but I lived down there, so like I could just like. Dude, the best would be I did this like me and Ariel's first date. We got pretty lit up and like I walked her back to her house and then like I live nowhere near where she did. So I rented one of those blue bicycles and I rode back to where my house was at.
Yeah.
Hammered.
Oh shit.
Just like happy as shit, being like, I met a girl. Like,
I went really well.
Just like ripping it with my shirt unbuttoned. I was sweating because it was hot as shit out.
Oh man.
Just like,
yeah, that's a great feeling though.
Oh,
like that first date feel.
Dude,
you feel like it went well and everything.
You're so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was like, yeah. I'm like, oh, what are you into? She's like, sharks. I'm like, oh, I got a shark app.
Nice.
Done. Deal done.
There you go.
She was like, all right, let's get married.
Let's get married, yeah. Locked it in. Chills thinking about it. That's cool.
We'll end it on Sugar Sean got robbed by Peter Yan.
Oh, yeah.
I won money on that and I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tyler won money and he still thought he shouldn't have won. That's how honest he is.
And Gilmore witnessed my fucking face when that was announced.
He's like, I won, but I feel like I shouldn't have.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Wasn't happy about it.
I like Sugar, so I'm happy for. I really feel for Jan, and I saw some shit he was saying like he's rethinking about his, fighting for the UFC and all that.
Damn.
Only thing,
wouldn't you after that?
I mean, yeah.
Absolutely. But he talks about how he got screwed the last two, but like the Aljamain Sterling one, like you need to do when he's down. That was completely on him.
Yeah, that was
no that. Yeah,
but to get robbed after this, absolutely, has got to be so fucking demoralizing.
Oh yeah.
I feel for those dudes, man.
Just shut off the podcast now if you don't want to hear UFC anymore.
You won't bleed him that long.
But it was
good card otherwise. But that was
it was a nice card.
Dude, that was a shocker.
But like bringing it full circle, like you train jiu-jitsu now.
Mm-hmm.
People that don't train jiu-jitsu look at the ground game and the wrestling in the UFC is like, this is boring. Stand back up. Let's bang.
Right.
But you see someone like Peter Yan throw Sugar Sean on his head 6 times and then lose a fight.
6 sweep.
Like if you came in to the gym and I did that to you 6 times, you would quit jiu-jitsu.
Yep.
Like it's not like I wouldn't even have to punch you in the face. Like if I did that, if I swept you that many times. So like it's very clear that there's a problem in the UFC where they don't look at the judges don't consider the takedowns or anything adequately because they've never. I don't think they've ever been taken.
They can't identify where the threat is.
Dude,
a threatening position.
In a real fight,
about to get his ankle.
In a real fight, in a street fight, if I pick you up and throw you on your head, the fight is over.
Yeah.
There are no more strikes after that. And that's where people are like, oh no, they're just wrestling. That's part of the thing. And the dog's going rogue right now. He's trying to.
He's great.
But I just needed to.
Otherwise, though, as far as robberies go, I mean, it
was a pretty good card.
It was, yeah.
It was a great
card.
Thank
God there weren't
Thanks
more
for hosting us.
Yeah, that was sweet.
Next time we do that, I want to bring all the food.
That food was fire.
Shit was good.
Drinks were fire, though.
Dude, Ariel, to bring some fire drinks.
I was cool with that.
Dude, Tyler had an entire barbecue spread. Yeah. And then I went hard on the barbecue, and Gilmar's looking at me like I'm an idiot. I'm like, dude, what's up, dude? I don't feel so good. And Gilmar's like, dude, there's sushi too. Sushi, and Tyler pulls out an entire monster tray of sushi, and I'm like, oh, I want that, but I don't know if I can do it. And Gilmar's like, dude, I tried to tell you.
You still did it.
I still did it.
Dude, Sunday I spent in pain. Sunday, I was in so much pain.
Oh, I can feel for you.
Yeah. You know what I was feeling.
Oh, yeah, I felt that before.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Dude, I literally, I couldn't explain it to Ariel. She's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I don't know. my body is just, my whole body was just
That's why, bro, you can't eat that shit too often. That's why,
dude,
bro.
the barbecue mixed with the sushi,
it's
the
so
drinks.
good. Oh, yeah.
Dude,
I forgot about that mix, bro.
Dude, I had a Reese's cup.
I didn't have it.
I had a Kit Kat.
Fuse, bro.
Yeah, I had a Kit Kat.
Yeah, dude.
Lit.
Dude, it was fucking
We'll keep doing that, too.
That was fun time.
That'd be great.
We'll grow the people that come, too.
That was fun time.
That'd be great.
Dude, your son was legit.
That was great.
Rambo loved him.
That was really good.
Rambo's like, can we get one of these? And I was like, no, we may not.
I was stoked on that. Yeah, they'll continue to be good buds.
Yeah, it was like a bond. It was like, yeah. It was funny as shit. It's weird to see Rambo with especially young boys. He meets young children like Grayson's age, and he's like, we'll be friends.
It's funny because you don't know exactly what's going through the head of either one of them, like a young kid and a dog. You can't ask him.
That's so true.
It's such a special thing.
Yeah, it's fucking legit.
Mm-hmm.
Gilmar, what do we got
for what?
I don't know, dude. Where's our shirts at? When are our shirts coming in?
So apparently everything's being shipped in the beginning of November. So I think end of November, mid-November.
That's next week, dog.
Yeah.
I hit him with the dog.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too, man. I'm excited.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, we're going to be dripped out, bro.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm very excited. I don't know if I'm as excited because you're my boy and I'm excited for you to do this, or if you've just been hyping it up so such a cock tease for weeks now that everybody wants one of these shirts so bad because Gilmar just posts just the sleeve of the shirt. It's let me just see the tip.
Yes.
Yeah, bro.
He's been playing just the tip marketing.
He loves teasing this much.
Well, that's the thing. I fucking had to learn that, how to tease products and stuff. So it's working.
Oh, so he loves this conversation, bro.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Sick
dude.
fuck.
I'm gonna have him when I start an OnlyFans page. I'm gonna have him to run.
Oh, bro, I help you with your teasing. Yeah,
dude.
Yeah, I saw a bakery and the name of the page was Only Flans.
Oh, I saw that too.
Genius, bro.
I saw that shit too. That was great.
So lit, dude.
Only Flans.
I fucking love it.
There it is.
All right. Thanks for listening. Find Tyler on Instagram at
T Howe Mortgage.
T Howe Mortgage. Howe with an E at the end.
I have over 500 reviews.
It's lit.
Yeah, come on, pull it up in the thing. But we got T Howe Mortgage. He's the guy for mortgages for real.
He's a mortgage man.
Not only because he's friends with us, and Sugar Sean, Rob, Peter Yan, and subscribe to the podcast. Go follow the clothing company. Gilmar's. We'll start putting that link in the bio as well. I gotta get better at that. And then, the clothing company's The Town Clo, TONECLO, The Town Clo. No posts yet because once it drops,
it's not ready yet.
It's going.
When it's ready,
come get teased. The Town Clo. Subscribe to the show. Rate us, review us, leave a comment. Tell us how good we're looking, and shout out to Rambo. He likes that too. We out.